Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MLB Draft Combine interviews with Prospects Live. And I'm joined by a very, very special guest, Arizona catcher Adonys Guzman. Okay, Adonys, so you just got back from Omaha. How was that, first of all? I'm sure it was an absolutely awesome experience. How was that, and how's the travel been? You've kind of been a couple different places in the last few days. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, Omaha was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It was a dream come true, honestly, like getting to play in front of all those fans, my family being able to be there. It was just sick in and of itself. I kind of compared it to the people that I asked to like an adult version of the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
Like you just go around, get free stuff, like sunglasses here, free merch here, people saying what's up every 2 seconds. So it was an unreal experience, and I'm very grateful to be able to get there with our team. And I'm glad. I'm upset we didn't win more games, but it was just sick to be there.
Being in the Final Eight, like that has to mean something. Well, you didn't accomplish your overall goal. Your season outlook was still great, right?
Yes,
you guys had a super fun year. We were following along a lot. I kind of want to pick your brain about catching here. Right? You're kind of the backbone of the team, especially at Arizona. I want to talk to you a little bit about your catching process. So before a game, what does kind of your catching pregame look like, and then we'll get into some other stuff.
I like to keep it real simple. I kind of just start off getting the eyes warmed up. I might use some heavier balls, plyo balls, and just kind of have one of our coaches flip them to me, and I just work my moves, just kind of get going, and then I'll work into some transfers after that, and then just some blocks, and then get my arm ready to go, do some plyo works and bands. Game time, ready to go.
So arm strengthening is kind of a part of your routine.
Yes, sir. I wouldn't say more arm strengthening. I would just say making sure my arm is ready to go, just like loose. Throughout the year, it was feeling great, and then like April, May, I kind of hit a wall where it was just like, wow, I feel like I have dead arm, and I started doing some plyos and built a routine and a program doing those, and it helped me tremendously.
Taking care of your arm just like a pitcher. I don't see why
sir.
not when you're throwing the ball just as much, right?
Exactly.
So what do you think is the hardest aspect of the catching game, right? In the last 5 years or so, we've seen data and analytics really kind of complicate the catching game, right? Things have changed a lot. There's kind of been a shift in catching to like the knee-down approach. What do you think is the hardest thing for a catcher to do nowadays in today's game?
It's hard because there can be a lot of different answers to this, especially in terms of like for me personally, it was when I said like that April, May came around, and it was just in the middle of the season. We weren't really playing for much, and it was just kind of filling my legs and just being able to produce offensively. Like the defense for me has always been there, and it's always been something that I've been really good at, but it's just the offense, especially when my body wasn't feeling the best and my legs were kind of giving out a little bit, and my arm was a little dead. Just being able to get back out there, do it on offense, and then get ready for defense.
So that was my next question: is how do you possibly last for a full season? And now you're getting ready to enter pro ball, and it's even more intense with more baseball games. What's kind of your rest and recovery method, and do you have one thing that like really gets you going and refreshes your legs and your body for catching the next day?
Not really. I'd say I'm pretty normal in terms of recovery and what I do. I've heard of some crazy things some people do, especially these pitchers nowadays.
Oh yeah.
But no, maybe some Normatec, cold tub, hot tub, the contrast, and our strength and conditioning coaches at U of A have done a great job of just making sure we have a really good strength program and keeping us on track with that and throughout the whole season, because that's part of our routines as well. Like if you're not healthy, you can't play. So in order to stay healthy, you have to do the small things like lift, recover, and stuff like that. Hydration was a big one for them.
Keeping it simple, it sounds like, right? Keep it simple. Leading into my next question, why Arizona? What spoke to you about Arizona?
First off, one of the coaches that was at my previous club, Boston College, he ended up coming to Arizona, so that kind of made it a little bit of an easier decision, but also just the weather.
Absolutely.
I don't think we've ever had a rain out or anything of that nature. It was just a great place to play baseball. Our head coach coached in the big leagues for a number of years, so there was a ton of experience there in terms of what a pro looks like and how a pro should act, and that was something that was very intriguing to me as well. But yeah, just the weather, the coaching, And yeah, pretty much.
I mean, those are two important things, right? Mm-hmm. Like this 110, a guy like me from Seattle, where we're constantly getting rained out. This is a little foreign to me, but I'm loose, man. I feel like I could get on the mound right now.
Exactly.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your walk-up song, right? So what walk-up song did you choose, and do you think a walk-up song matters for a baseball player?
Yes and no. Last year, I got to the point where it was like, I was being superstitious with my walk-up song, and like if I had a stretch where I didn't get a hit for a couple games or something, like, oh yeah, I got to change the walk-up song. It has no more hits in it. Whereas this year, I stuck with the same one all year, and it tend to work. But I did Nueva York by Bad Bunny. So some New York. I'm from New York. Spanish, so kind of got a little bit of all sides of me. But that was.
I would say the walk-up song worked this year.
Yeah,
I would say it did.
Thankfully.
When you're talking about mental skills in baseball, right? Baseball is a game of failure. How do you kind of strengthen your mind enough to go out there and keep performing even through bad stretches or whatnot? What kind of mental training have you done to kind of strengthen yourself in that aspect of the game?
That was a big part of our program as well.
I love that.
We have sports psychologists that are always at our disposal. That was just learning small things and tricks to help you recenter and reset yourself. For me, the biggest thing was it really came down to my preparation. Like mentally, I was like, I know I put in the work. I know I have my routines in place. I know what I need to do on a day in and day out basis, and that's where I gained my confidence from and the mental toughness or the mental resilience you need to be able to perform regardless if you're not having the best results.
Absolutely.
Because it's a really long year at the end. Especially when it comes to hitting, the numbers will average out regardless of which way. If you're really down or really up, they'll tend to average out 99% of the time. So it's just about knowing that you put the work in and that you're good enough to go out there and play.
I love that. I love that a lot. I've asked this question to a lot of people today, and my number one answer is like control the controllables. But the preparation really is where you get your confidence from, right? And I can tell that you are prepared, and that has kind of spoken in your game. I have a couple kind of rapid fire questions here for you. First of all, favorite lifts in the gym?
I'll go squat. Back squat.
All right. That's a catcher lift. Right?
Exactly.
If you had to sing karaoke, what song are you singing, man?
If I Ain't Got You, Alicia Keys.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's the best answer I've gotten all day. And lastly, who's your baseball GOAT and why?
GOAT, like of all time.
Yeah. But it can be your personal one. It doesn't have to be whatever.
Can I say two?
Absolutely.
Two of the players that I grew up admiring were Alex Rodriguez and Manny Ramirez.
Absolutely.
Two. They just, I don't know. I really love their swings. I love the way they played the game. Specifically for my position, the greatest of all time is Yadi Molina, in my opinion. Just the swag he played with and just how good he was in general. The
defense alone,
exactly,
just incredible.
Yeah.
Really cool.
But growing up, we're definitely. Overall, Alex Rodriguez and Manny.
Did you have a chance to see Manny? I don't know. Were you here yesterday?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't get a chance to see Manny at all. But I mean, still to this day, if I'm going through a little bit of a slump or if some fields aren't right, I'll go on YouTube and just search up Manny Ramirez in batting practice. And it'll just from watching, I've learned so much from him, especially just how easy it is. It's just it's pretty sick.
That's really interesting. Looking at highlights to get yourself out of that's really
well, not even highlights, just batting practice.
Just seeing the swing, right?
Yeah, just the swing and the effort level and how he goes about hitting is really unique and I like it a lot.
Yeah, effortless power, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, his kid had some pretty effortless power too.
Really?
So I'm like, he looked pretty dang good. So now would be a great time to shout out your social medias where the people can find you if they're watching this interview.
On Instagram Adonys.Guzman and Twitter Adonys Guzman 3, I believe.
They can look you up. I'm sure they'll find you.
I don't even know my username for real.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine. And I'm joined by a very, very special guest, Devin Taylor. Devin, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Really good, man. It's great to get you on our website, man. We've been trying to get you for a while, and you're one of our favorite players over at Prospects Live.
I appreciate it.
You're a top 10 guy on our last draft board. You're just one of our favorite players in general, so this is a good time, right?
Right.
I wanted to get into kind of your college career to start. What drew you to Indiana in the first place?
Really, basically, like, throughout the recruiting process, I wanted, like, a coach, like, I wanted to play under a coach that basically wanted me for me, and not, like, in a way where every phone call is like robotic. And it's like sometimes I even talk to Coach Murf. Like, of course, I got a lot of schools, but when I talk to Coach Murf, sometimes like we wouldn't even talk about baseball. And like once I like stepped on campus after having all those conversations with him for like 2 years, like it felt like home ASAP, and it didn't feel like that for any school.
Less business, more baseball.
Exactly.
Would you say? Yeah.
Like less business, more baseball, but like the campus is beautiful in Bloomington, so that's a very big plus.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Best of both worlds.
Yep.
You set the school home run record at Indiana. Is that something that you cared about? Was that like a goal of yours? Are you like a visualizer before a season, or is that just an added plus to a great career?
I think it's just an added plus. I don't really shoot for home runs. I'm more of shooting for line drives, and like if I backspin it that much that it goes out, hey, that's a praise.
You backspin a lot of them, it sounds like.
So I'm just happy that like once I stayed with them myself and I knew like I had the ability to, like the biggest thing is never trying to do too much, and that's what I felt like I did through all those home runs.
So it's safe to say your approach is line drive focused. Is there anything else that you would describe in your approach to hitting that you specifically have every single AB day in and day out?
More of just like getting a load off early enough to where like I'm able to read every pitch. Like obviously I'm not trying to move too much, but like a comfortable load where I can load my body up for tension and like a lot of power. Yeah. But I just want to take that simple 80% swing every time and just let the result take care. Obviously, 3 out of 10 times, like you're a Hall of Famer, and you can't always get a hit. So I'm just shooting for more A swings than results.
Absolutely. So kind of building off that, how do you manage the failure of baseball, right? We talk about that 3 out of 10 times you're a Hall of Famer in the big leagues. What kind of mental skills have you developed throughout your time in college that have served you well throughout your career and have kept you loving baseball?
Yeah, me really just being a kid at all times, like making sure to have fun. Like I love playing with everybody. Like I know a ton of guys here, and I've just been socializing with them. It's the best thing ever. Like whoever I play with, I make sure to play with them for fun, because you can't play this game without having fun. Yeah. And that's my main thing, like day in and day out, and like making sure, like even if I have a bad swing, like 3 out of 10 times, that's all I think about. It's like, all right, I got to move on. I have to move on, or like it's gonna barrel to the next at bat next day, and like I just make sure to let it go once that at bat's over.
Absolutely. Baseball doesn't define you as a person, right? That's something I always talk about. Exactly. And I love that mindset out of you. So I'm actually interviewing one of your teammates right after this, Korbyn. Yes. Is there any questions I should ask him? Think deep here. I kind of want to surprise him. Put you on the spot there.
Maybe who's his favorite outfielder he's ever played with?
Oh, okay. So now,
if he says anybody else,
if he doesn't say you, what's going to happen?
We might have to put some boxing gloves on there, for sure.
We could probably get pay-per-view for that one. I think people would want to watch that.
Definitely.
So as you head into this draft cycle, what are you currently working on in your game? What's kind of been a focal point of view after this season? It was a great season, obviously. You don't have a whole lot to work on, but what are you kind of nitpicking to get better at right now?
Everything, because obviously I'm not even close to the best form that I can be. Like every step is trying to get 1% better every day, and like whether it's hitting, fielding, throwing, like I make sure to do everything every day. Just like even if it's like the slightest thing, just one drill, like just to stay sharp and focused through these 2 months of not playing is obviously gonna be a little different once we get drafted. Yeah. And like obviously those first line of bats will be like, dang, like we just sat down for 2 months and we're facing straight 95. Yeah. And it's like, all right, you gotta accept it anyway and get used to it.
Try and remain like as well-rounded as possible in the meantime is a fair summarization there.
Exactly, yeah.
We're going to move into a couple rapid-fire questions here. This is probably my favorite question I'll ask most people today. First of all, does a walk-up song matter? And then what was your walk-up song?
It does matter if you use it right.
There you go.
Obviously. I'm more of a slow-tempo guy. Like, like this is like the kind of not the story, but like this is like a little background. Like me, like sometimes before games, like 20 minutes before games, like I'll be taking a nap, like to cool my nerves. Yeah. And I had 2 walk-up songs. My first one, it was always for my first at bat only. It was "Ready or Not" by Fugees.
Nice.
So I had to do that, and then after that, it was "You Can't Stop the Rain" by Shaquille O'Neal and Notorious B.I.G.
Wow. Those 2 pretty good songs there.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm huge on like a beginning part, like the beginning like beat. So that's where both of them are. Like start at 0-0-0.
Yeah, I think it's underrated in the lower. You hear MLB players and they're like, "Oh, I just want to get the crowd involved." But you talk to like college, high school guys, and the walk-up song does matter. Like it's that swag. It's what sets you off on the right foot before an AB, right? It gives you that little boost of confidence. So I love talking to guys about what their choice is, and it sounds like you put some work into yours.
Yeah.
I want to go back to your point of that you would maybe almost sleep right before a game. That might be different than what most people think of when they think baseball player, right? They think high energy, get focused. How has that served you, and has that been something you always did, or is it something you discovered throughout your career that it just worked best for you?
It's more of like throughout like my playing career, I figured out like the more level-headed, like the more slow beating my heart is, like the better I play. So it's like I get in my freshman year of Indiana, like we'll take BP, especially at home games, like we'll take BP. And then we'll have like an hour, like we'll do hitters meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's like a break.
It's the dreaded hour, yeah.
And I'm like, I might as well like take a 20-minute nap. Like obviously, like I'm feeling energy, and I like once I feel like energy like tensing up, like I have to go to sleep, or like that energy's gonna go in the wrong places during the game.
Yeah.
So like it's more like sleeping for focus. Like I'm gonna stretch when I wake up. Like make sure I stay loose.
Yeah. You won't be asleep at the game,
Yeah.
but it sounds like you subscribe to the belief of never being too high or somewhere in the middle. Like you try and remain level at all times. Is that something that you catch yourself, even in your biggest moments, trying not to get too high so you can remain on that same kind of level throughout a game?
Yeah, and like it's like a mentality of like, say like we're playing here, like there's 9 guys on the field for both teams. Like even if you're in the dugout and you're basically just playing in a bubble, everybody outside the bubble is watching you play. Like they paid to watch you play.
Yeah.
So like even if they're like chirping or anything, like just remember they paid to watch you play. Like they're fans of you.
That's a great perspective. I hadn't heard that one before. That's really good. Moving into a couple more kind of rapid fire questions. What do you think the best French fry out there is? Going off baseball here.
Best French fry?
Best French fry. There's so many, right?
Wow. I mean, I like sweet potato fries.
Okay.
I usually get that from like Red Robin.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
like the bottomless ones.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not a picky eater. As long as it ain't tuna, I'll eat it.
Okay.
So.
I could get behind that, absolutely. Star Wars versus Harry Potter or neither?
I gotta say Star Wars. I've never watched either, but
Okay.
one of my teammates, Tyler Cerny, will hate me if I said Harry Potter.
We'll make sure to clip this and get it out there so everyone knows what side you're on. Breakfast or dinner?
Both.
Just food?
I like eating.
Just a food guy?
Yeah, man.
Who's your baseball GOAT, and then who's someone you might model your game after?
My baseball GOAT is Ken Griffey Jr., also a Cincinnati guy, so I gotta represent the hometown.
I'm from Seattle, so he's my guy too.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, same thing with modeling. Like, he was a really good outfielder and a really good hitter. Maybe I'm not more of like the flashy type like he is, but like his play on the field is extreme.
Absolutely. My last question, this is an important one. If you had to sing karaoke, what song would you sing?
So I did it freshman year, and I sang Last Night by Morgan Wallen.
Wow, okay, yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, it's easy, it's huge, like everybody's singing.
The guys get fired up for something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Devin, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure. And do you want to shout out your social medias or anything and let the people know where they can find you at home?
I guess I can shout out my social medias. Instagram, I think, Devin Taylor _5. Twitter is like Devin the Dude. I don't know. If it's
probably just look up Devin Taylor and find you.
I know it's Devin the Dude for sure.
Okay.
But,
absolutely, man. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine, and I'm joined by a very, very special guest, Korbyn Dickerson, and we just had your teammate on, Devin, and it's really cool to kind of get the dynamic duo from Indiana out here together. First of all, how's your experience been this week, and what is kind of being at the Draft Combine like for you?
Awesome. I mean, it's a great experience. This place is beautiful, so I've never really seen a ballpark like this before. Just love being out here. It's an awesome time.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever been in 110-degree heat before?
No. I'm used to the cold weather. I'm used to the opposite of this.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I want to ask you, what made Indiana home to you? What really connected when you got to Indiana?
Yeah, the coaches brought me in immediately, and we started working. And it felt like they cared a lot, even before I got to campus. So I put a lot of trust in those guys, and we got myself in a position to be successful this year. And yeah, it just felt like home immediately.
Absolutely. Devin was echoing the same thing. Coaching staff are real people. How important is it to you to have coaching who both believes in you as a person and a player, rather than more the transactional nature that coaching can sometimes become?
Oh, it's huge. I think that was the biggest trait that I really loved about our coaching staff, was the personable side of them. They were just very, very easy to talk to, and it's really easy to be coached with guys like that who are just like down-to-earth guys.
Yeah.
So it was really beneficial for me.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about the art of base stealing right now. You're a fast guy, right? Mm-hmm. And I think base stealing is a super underrated part of the game. I want to talk a bit about what you think the most important part of being a successful base stealer is.
I think the biggest piece is confidence.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are just honestly scared to steal bases. And I think that comes with a lot of reps, a lot of practice. And for me, I didn't have a whole lot of game reps with stealing bases, so that is something I do want to get better at.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it just comes down to confidence on the base path.
Absolutely. And you're a guy who projects to steal a whole lot in professional baseball. Moving on to kind of what else you want to improve upon entering this draft season. You obviously had a great year, but there's always more you can do. What kind of things are you kind of focusing on in your training right now?
Yeah, some of the plate discipline stuff and pitch selection and pitch recognition have been something that I want to get better at. With my limited at-bats that I do have collegiately, I think it'd be something that I can get a lot better at pretty quickly with a lot more at-bats.
Do you just train something like that doing more game reps, or is there anything in the cage that you're specifically working on to kind of get better at those things, or just a lot of live reps?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's live reps. So I like to stand in on bullpens, or if they're having like live ABs one week, I'll take some swings in live ABs. Even though I'm playing 4 games a week, I still want to get those extra reps in, just visually and training my brain to see those types of pitches.
Absolutely. I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of your hitting process. What kind of hitting drills do you think have benefited you the most throughout your career, and what do you kind of consistently add into your pregame hitting routine?
Yeah, I've always done a lot of machine work, like open side, closed side stuff, and it's always like competitive reps, so it feels tough, like it's game-like reps, and I think that's very beneficial once you actually get into the game. So machine's always been a really big thing for me.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about your walk-off home run this year against Ohio State, man. That was a fun video to watch. Yeah. Do you enjoy a moment like that, or do you kind of need to focus up and move on from it? Kind of where are you at in that scale?
So yeah, we embraced the moment. In the actual moment, we had a great time. Everybody's high-fiving, cheering. But we had a doubleheader that day, and that was the first game of the doubleheader. Yeah. So it was like immediate, okay, you walk it off, happy, high fives, back to the locker room for the scouting report, and you're getting ready for the next game in 45 minutes. So it was a super quick turnaround, but we definitely embraced that moment while it happened.
You got to tame that emotion pretty fast, right? Get your head back in the game.
Yeah, right back ready for another 9 innings.
100%. I've been asking everyone today about walk-up songs. I think they actually do matter, especially in collegiate and lower-level baseball. They're kind of the tone setter, right? Yeah. What was your walk-up song this year, and what was your process in choosing it?
So it was Turks by Nav.
Absolutely,
Honestly, it's just the beat for me. I love it. Yeah, it gets me going. Kind of gets me locked in the zone. It's been my walk-up song all 3 years of college. So
absolutely,
yeah, I've always loved that one.
Tradition.
It always sounds good in the stadium speakers.
Okay,
for some reason.
There you go. Yeah. Do you think you'll keep bringing that to stadiums from here on out?
Maybe. I don't know. I might have to change it up. There's some new good songs out there that I need to show some love.
3 years in a row of Nav at some point, right?
Right. At some point, it's got to change a little bit.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit about your mental skills and your response to adversity. Right, you have faced adversity in your career before. How do you bounce back from tough times mentally, and how do you kind of lock yourself back in? What kind of mental skills have you picked up throughout college baseball that have served you well throughout your career?
Yeah, I have dealt with some stuff, limited opportunities my first couple of years, and I think really just throwing myself into the process and getting obsessed with the work that I can put in while I'm waiting was a really good way for me to just clear my head and stay focused on the task at hand. I try not to control the things that I can't control, and I stay focused on what I'm able to control, and just benefit myself in those situations, because it was tough. Not playing for 2 years is always tough for anybody, but I understood my position, and I was getting better daily while I was waiting.
And that cannot be more clear as far as when your time came at Indiana, you took it and you ran with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's the control the controllables aspect you talk about. I absolutely love that. Talking about kind of just some rapid fire questions. You're a little less baseball. What is your favorite YouTube channel? Are you a YouTube guy? What do you watch or listen to?
I actually love watching MLB highlights.
Absolutely.
I'll just go back and watch the game clips, because watching 9 innings of big league baseball, so there's so many games and I can't watch all of them, so I'll watch a lot of highlights. Anything sport related, typically. Okay. I used to watch Good Golf a little bit when they were popular.
Absolutely.
Other than that, it's a lot of sports.
Who do you find yourself gravitating towards when you're watching MLB highlights? Is there someone that you consistently just watch and love?
Yeah, 2 guys. I love watching Mookie play. I think he's just super smooth, and he's like your standard.
He's the consummate professional, man.
He's the concept of a professional athlete. I love watching Acuna play, man. His swagger is crazy. I don't know. He looks like he belongs on a baseball field. So yeah, I
baseball
love watching
needs
him
a
play.
Cunha. I always love watching him in like the Dominican Winter League, like highlights and stuff.
Yeah.
Playing baseball that like isn't as high level too, because you let the personality shine even
Yeah,
more.
it's awesome to watch those guys play.
Absolutely. Another question here. We're going on to food here. What's the best M&M flavor? There's about 20 of them now. What's the go-to M&M?
The classic M&Ms,
Okay.
the plain
Okay.
old original M&Ms.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a basic guy.
All right.
When it comes to stuff like that, I love the basics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Staying on food, favorite ballpark food, and maybe favorite ballpark you visited as a fan.
Favorite ballpark, I would say Wrigley. Wrigley was pretty cool.
Historic,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, super. It feels nostalgic just walking in. We watched the game there. I love a good nachos at a ballpark. You
Okay.
get like some loaded nachos. Yeah, those
They've really changed up ballpark food where it's not just your bad cheese nacho like your
Yeah,
canned
right.
stuff. It's like now we've got like professional grade
Yeah, I've got
nachos.
like brisket on top of my nachos and
But
stuff.
they are
now,
$20, so it's like
yeah.
that's your trade-off.
Right, that's your trade-off.
Yeah. What do you think the biggest benefit of attending the Combine is going to be for you?
I think it's great for me to put names to faces with all the people in the organizations. It's been awesome meeting with teams and meeting everybody, that makes the decision. So it's super cool making relationships with this.
Kind of one of those things that you might not have dreamed about attending the MLB Combine when you're a kid, but when you're in it, I'm sure it's somewhat of a dream.
Oh yeah, I've had a smile on my face the whole week. It
Right.
hasn't come off yet.
Me too, man.
It's incredible. Yeah.
Absolutely. My last question for you is who's your baseball GOAT and why?
Has to be Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
He was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Nobody could pitch to him in his
Yeah.
time. So I think Barry Bonds is probably the
Should
GOAT.
he be in the Hall of Fame? Tough one.
That's a different
Tough
topic.
one,
That's a
right?
different topic. But I will say he is the best hitter that's ever stepped on the field.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Controversial or not,
Yeah.
you can't
You
beat
can't debate that guy. No,
Absolutely. Do you want to shout out your social media and where the fans can find you? They're gonna love this interview.
Yeah. Katie 5-star on Instagram, and then I'll have Twitter too. It's the same name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me, man. I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back, everyone, to Prospects Live at the Combine, and I'm joined by a very special guest, Oklahoma pitcher Cade Crossland, and we're super excited to have you here. And my first question is just, how's this draft combine experience been going for you?
I mean, so far so good. I only just got here last night, but I mean, taking care of all the testing stuff, medical stuff, it's pretty cool. This is my first time at the field, so this is awesome to see.
Yeah, getting to put some names to faces and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about your college baseball journey, right? Weatherford Junior College to Oklahoma. My first question is, why Oklahoma? What kind of led you to commit there?
I mean, ever since I was a baby, I've been an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah.
Parents raised me the right way. So I mean,
It's a
worked
no-brainer.
out. Yeah, it worked out to where I got to have the opportunity to go there, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah. Why did junior college make sense to you?
Well, at first it didn't. I went to a Division II school my freshman year,
Okay.
Ouachita Baptist in Arkansas. Just played that year and really just wanted to see what I could do. And
Yeah.
that's why I went to Weatherford, and I'm very happy I did that because it worked out.
Yeah.
Allowed me to play for my dream.
It definitely worked out. So I was a former JUCO guy. So what's the JUCO grind like, man? What was like the most JUCO thing you had to do at Weatherford?
It's probably just the bus rides.
Yeah.
I mean, you get blessed with planes at Division I, so
Yeah.
it's a lot different. Just having to just sit on the bus and then get right off. Got to be ready to throw right there.
Long days,
Yeah,
a
it's
little bit less money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you peaked at the right time at the end of the year. Obviously, it didn't end the way you guys wanted it to. But that start against Nebraska, 7 innings, 9 Ks in the regional. What was working for you that day? Like, what was the mindset? Because you're kind of playing for your life out there, right? In a way. So, kind of walk me through that.
Yeah, I mean, the mindset was just everything I got that day. Because, I mean, I knew we had to, when we won, I knew we had to play another game that night against North Carolina. So my goal was just to go as long as possible. Whether it was 150 pitches, I would have done it.
Yeah.
So the mindset was just, I'm going till they pull me, and that's what happened.
And your bats provide enough offense to where you guys saved the pen and you won that game at night. So it nearly did work out. What was the experience of playing in that regional like this year for you guys?
It was awesome. The North Carolina crowd was unreal.
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of just fired everybody up. Just having fun in the dugouts when we weren't playing, and
Yeah.
just awesome to be a part of.
Absolutely. What was is there a home crowd you remember this year for a certain game that was just unlike any other? Or is it always just electric?
It really was. My favorite was South Carolina.
Yeah.
With their towels running out every time the pitching change would happen.
Yeah.
But that was my favorite.
It's some good crowd
Favorite
stuff.
series. Yeah.
So your pitch arsenal is highlighted by just this really double plus changeup. Have you always had a really good feel for that pitch, or is that something you've really had to tinker with and develop over the years?
No, I've always had it. My dad didn't let me throw a curveball until I was probably almost high school.
Yeah.
So I've always just fastball changeup.
Yeah.
And I've never changed the grip anything since I was probably 10.
Have you always noticed that you've naturally been able to pronate a little better, get inside of that baseball, or do you think it was more a product of just throwing it for so long?
It was probably just throwing it for so long because that's really all I threw other than my fastball.
Yeah, and the fastball's not bad either. Do you want to kind of show me that grip? You got a baseball right behind you. Camera's over there. Just kind of walk the people through what you're thinking when you throw it as well.
So I throw it. I copy Pedro Martinez. Just a good old circle change.
Yeah. It's not a bad inspiration.
Pinky under the ball, thumb
Yeah.
tucked, and I guess the mindset would just be reach as long as possible and throw it like I'm throwing an egg. Just don't want it to crack.
Yeah.
Just let it out as
Just
light
extend
as
with
possible.
that. Absolutely. Okay. Let's go through your other pitches now as well. So fastball, kind of what are you thinking on that one?
So I try to just tunnel the pitches, change up away. I'll throw a lot of fastball up and in because I have more vert than horizontal.
Yeah.
But I do use that, just kind of go in separate places, and then I have a knuckle curve that I play off the fastball as well. Throw it up, throw the curve down, and then later in the year I've been working on a slider, but I didn't throw it too much, so see how that goes.
Do you think that's something you'll keep trying to develop?
Yes, it's good when it's good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. How are you throwing the slider?
It's basically the curveball without the knuckle.
Absolutely.
And I just try and handshake at the end, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that'll work. So you mentioned tunneling. Are you a guy who kind of looks at like tunneling metrics and kind of advanced analytics to try and figure out how to play your pitches best?
I haven't looked into it a lot. I kind of just go based off the batter.
How it's working?
How they swing, how they take, if they check swing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they're gonna, if they give to a changeup away but don't swing, just might as well throw it again and then chase over that. You could throw a curveball in the same outside corner that runs back foot and they might swing over it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of use what you think the batter's weakness is.
Your shapes really play off each other well. So I suppose if you're keen enough to watch what the batter's doing and care about that kind of thing, it's probably gives you a leg up. As far as your pitching mentality on the mound, what's kind of like a word or a phrase that describes you? Some guys today have just said like things like attack or FU is like a common one with pitchers. Do you run hot or a little colder on the mound, and then what's kind of your mentality?
I'd say I run pretty cold. Our coach Skip, he preaches just one pitch at a time and teaches you how to breathe and just stay in control.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you're really just calm.
Yeah.
Try to stay as calm as possible. Don't get caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
Just do what you know how to do.
Absolutely. Playing with Kyson Witherspoon, like how is that to have multiple pitchers on your staff that are such high level competitors, and how do you guys like work with each other, and do you guys bounce things off each other pretty constantly out there?
Yeah, me, Kyson, and then Malachi.
Yeah.
We were like that this year, just playing catch with each other. We always watch each other's bullpens, just watching for things that they did wrong, and they would know it. So we really just taught each other, and I think they made me much better than I should have been.
Yeah.
But I hope I did the same for
You guys
them.
use each other's strengths to help each other out, right?
Yes.
Like I'm sure that you had a little bit of change of help with them, or what? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I helped Kyson with his change a lot.
There you go. There you go. As far as kind of your mental skills within baseball, right? This is a game where you can throw a perfect pitch in your mind and it can get taken yard, like any day. How do you kind of deal with failure on the mound, and how do you bounce back from the ups and downs of a life in baseball?
I mean, if you execute, you can't focus on the result. If you put the work in the week to execute that pitch, and you do, it's tipped your cap to the batter.
Yeah.
I mean, you got lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
You kind of just can't let it snowball.
Yeah, trust the preparation.
Best,
Moving on to a couple kind of more rapid fire questions here, a little less baseball related, just kind of get a gauge of personality here. First of all, I want to talk walkout song. I've asked everyone this all week. I think walkout songs do matter. I think for pitchers, they set the tone for what you're doing. What was your walkout song this year?
It was Simple Man by Leonard Skinner.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are you a DeGrom guy?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the influence there?
It wasn't.
Okay.
I've always loved that song.
Yeah. It's a classic. Do you think that kind of, when you hear that song, does it kind of lock you in right then and there, or is it just simply just a really good song?
I mean, it's almost like a reminder just to keep it simple, you know?
Yeah.
Don't try and do too much for a good hitter on the team. Just
Yeah.
do what you know how to do.
Yeah, it kind of goes with the calm kind of personality of it now too. Like it's a great song, but it's not too loud.
Yeah.
Some of the songs you hear nowadays. If you had to sing karaoke, man, what are you singing?
Gosh. I don't even know. Probably some pop song that I grew up listening to.
Do you know any
right?
songs like front and back, or you just
Really?
you're just listening?
I don't even think I could choose a song.
That's fair. It's a fair enough answer, man. Let's say you're going on a road trip, man. Back in JUCO ball days, you got 12 hours in the van or the bus. What's your road trip snack at the gas station?
Probably just a pickle.
Wow. We might have to dive into that one a little bit.
Always.
You're getting like the gas station pickles. You're that guy.
Yeah, I'll get the ones in the bag. I don't know what they're called.
I don't know
But
either.
yeah. I'll get the pickles.
Does anyone ever been like that's kind of weird or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Plenty of people. I mean,
Just making sure we're
it's
on the same
50-50
page.
who likes pickles and who doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's the most JUCO thing I've ever heard, by the way. Let's just kind of go to my last question here. Talking about baseball goats, you mentioned Pedro earlier, who is one of the greatest pitchers of all time in my eyes, and everyone else's too. Who's kind of someone that you idolized either growing up or now? And they don't have to be the best player ever, but like who's your personal goat?
probably Clayton Kershaw.
Okay.
I grew up wearing 22.
Yeah.
Love him as a person. Just tried to copy his arsenal when I was younger, but it didn't work out.
It's kind of hard to get those that break.
He's just an amazing guy. Just unbelievable pitcher too. So
Yeah.
it's just someone I've always looked up to.
You're not the first person to say that this week, and he's the consummate professional, right? Good on and off the field, and a good guy too. So I think that's a great answer. Well, thank you so much for joining us. If you want to shout out your social media so the people at home know where to find you, now would be a great time to do so.
Everything's at Cade Crossland.
That is so easy.
It is.
So, thanks so much for joining me, man, and have a great rest of your combine. We'll be cheering you on come draft.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine. And I'm joined by a very special guest, Mason Pike from my local Seattle area. And you're here at the Draft Combine, and you're playing on both sides of the ball. You're one of the few guys here to do that. Talk about what this experience has been like, just being at the Combine.
Yeah, it's been a really awesome experience just seeing all the college guys you watch on TV and then seeing all your high school boys one more time before we all go different places.
Yeah, have you made like a random friend through playing with guys all over the country over the summers?
Yeah, I'm friends
lot of
with a
them,
lot
sure.
of them. Just from being, at every stop in the summer
Yeah.
and just kind of talking and having breakfast and stuff every day. So.
Yeah, it's a good group of guys, man.
Yeah.
I've heard the hotel's been good over there too. They're treating you well.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I want to talk a little bit about two-weighing and how it's kind of gone throughout your career, right? So yesterday you're up to 96 in the bump, and you had exit velos around 110 miles an hour with the bat. Like that is legitimate power production from both facets of the game. How have you trained to be able to do that at such a high level both ways?
Yeah, I think the big thing to power is just actually getting in the gym and lifting weights often and going heavy, and also just doing your explosive stuff to be explosive and powerful helps out a lot.
Yeah, do you find that you have much free time throughout your days having to work on both sides of the ball? It kind of doubles your practice time.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it takes about all day, so it takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah, 100%. So I know you're a driveline guy, right? How has that kind of influenced you in the last couple of years, and when did you start going there?
Yeah, I started going there in September was my first day, and yeah, it's been a great experience, crazy. I walked in there probably about 100, 101 in their facility, and then got up to 110 in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Really impressive. Really, really cool. What kind of stuff do they have you work on in there specifically? I know that there's a lot of bat speed training and such, but what are some things that you have really clicked for you in that facility?
Yeah, my bat speed was always pretty good, so a lot of stuff we worked on was just bat path and then learning how to transfer my weight into the baseball.
Optimizing the body, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely, man. I kind of want to talk about pitch grips with you because you showed some really plus stuff. So you got a baseball right behind you there. You want to show me the fastball grip first and foremost, and kind of what you're thinking when you're throwing that?
Yeah, I just got a regular forcing fastball, fingers together, and I just try to stay behind it and try to stay to the right side of the plate.
Are you trying to ride that thing up in the zone? Or?
Yeah. So sometimes I'll cut it, so if I try to stay on top and towards the right side of the plate,
absolutely,
it gets a lot more velo.
Yeah, the breaker yesterday was working really well for you. It had some good shape. How do you throw that?
It's my slider. It's on the outside of the horseshoe here, just trying to hook my finger on the lace there, and then just.
Oh, you got the thumb up there, yeah, absolutely. Is that kind of where you found your comfort? Was with the thumb a little higher for that guy?
Yeah, it's just been a comfort thing, and I've adjusted. I was like kind of flat here, and that was just kind of having me just spin it. So just up here, made it have a lot more depth in it. So
get the two-plane movement. Absolutely. Kind of moving off of that, I want to talk a little bit about mental skills, right? So mental skills are some like buzzword in baseball or whatnot, but they've become more popular in the last decade or so. What kind of mental skills have you picked up along the way to be able to play a sport where failure is at the root of everything?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, baseball's one of the hardest sports out there, so just kind of having that, like, you got a next at-bat, next pitch mentality is big for the sport. Yeah,
absolutely. And is adversity something that motivates you? Are you motivated by your failures? Do you have a chip on your shoulder at all? Or are you just playing for the love of the game?
Yeah, I play for the love of the game and just also just trying to chase someone ahead of me and be better.
Yeah, and you can have both. I think that was almost worded poorly as far as you can play for the love of the game and still be motivated as all heck versus other people too, because it is a competitive sport. Right. Kind of moving on to some more fun questions, get to know you as a person a little bit more. This one will be an interesting one because you are a Seattle guy. Beach or mountains?
I gotta go beach. Okay. Beaches, yeah.
Might be time to get away from rainy Seattle. There's some beaches up there, but maybe you'll find a nice beach town.
Yeah, I like the warm weather a lot better than the cold. So.
Yeah, so how have you been liking 110 degrees though every day?
I mean, it's a little hot.
It's a little much, right?
In here is really nice. They got the AC going. So it's like
I don't think I'd ever seen 110. Seattle's definitely never gotten that hot, but this was a new one for the Northwest guys. All right, if you're forced to sing or dance, which one are you doing?
Probably sing.
Okay, so you got a karaoke song?
Yeah. Gosh. My Girl. Yeah. We actually do a lot of karaoke.
With who?
My family. We're Filipino, so they love karaoke.
Yeah? That's really cool. Breakfast or dinner?
I gotta go dinner.
Okay, absolutely. Is there a reason for that?
I like steak a lot.
You can have steak and
seafood, but yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have a walk-up song during your high school season?
We didn't.
Okay. If you did have a walk-up song, what would it have been?
It would have been The Motto by Drake.
Okay. Yeah. Drake guy.
Yeah, I got asked this one the other day too.
Drake v. Kendrick. I know what side you're taking.
Yeah, probably Drake.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Second to last one: pineapple on pizza. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
And some ranch.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. And then this is one of my co-hosts for our podcast. What do you think his name is? We brought him with it. He couldn't be here, so we had to bring him. We're asking people what you think his name is.
It looks like a Dan.
A Dan. That's actually he's a Drew. So you're pretty close. Yeah. He might be more Dan than Drew. If anything.
I don't know if he gives me Drew.
I think we might have changed his name now.
Yeah, it looks like a Dan for sure.
All right, Drew. You heard him. Last question here, really quick, is who's your baseball GOAT and why? It doesn't have to be the best player ever, but who's like your guy?
Barry Bonds.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
You're not the first person to say that. Now, a little bit more controversial. Hall of Famer, yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree with you strongly there. Yeah. Then you can't teach that, right?
No. Even if you're juiced or not.
You still can't do that.
Still got to hit the ball. And,
yeah.
And he did it before then, too.
Absolutely. That's a really good point right there. And now, do you want to shout out your social media to the camera super fast? Let the people know where to find you.
Mace Pike 3 on Instagram. Mace Pike on Twitter, and Mace Pike 3 on TikTok as well.
Great. Well, thanks so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it, and wish you the best of luck through this draft process.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine, and I am joined by Michael Salina here from St. Bonaventure. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, man. Good. How's this Combine experience been for you, and what do you think the biggest benefit of attending this event is?
It's been great. Being in Arizona is definitely a lot of fun. Having us placed in a really nice place, and I would say the biggest thing about this for me is meeting with teams, getting comfortable with them, and then you know, that's for me right now since I'm injured, and it's been a big part of it. So it's been good.
It's the business side, right?
Yeah,
and
business
handling all
side.
the things you need to.
Business stuff. So gotta handle those little things before the draft, you know.
Absolutely. So obviously you're coming off Tommy John surgery. How's the recovery been? How many weeks past surgery are you? And kind of where are you at in the recovery process
So
right
I'm
now?
10 weeks post-op currently. I got surgery April 7th from Dr. Meister, who did a tremendous job and just progressing like their program they gave me. And doing PT back home has been really well, and I've progressed really efficiently, and I've hit all my benchmarks with range of motion, like strength, and all that stuff. So I feel like I'm progressing really good. I'm excited for the next part of it.
Yeah, all going smooth, it sounds like.
Yep.
I saw an awesome video on Twitter that I just have to bring up, and it's the comeback, man. As you're squatting like 400 pounds at the safety bar 4 weeks post-op.
Yeah.
Is that just the kind of guy you are? Like, most guys who get TJ aren't doing that.
Yeah, I always just try to like, since like being like from a smaller school, and I guess under recruit, I've always tried to like find an edge since I was younger. And like the moment I was able to like do like leg stuff was like, I think 3 weeks after surgery I was back attacking it. So like doing little stuff like that, like just to get my legs stronger. So when I come back and throw, like get, you know, a little more, maybe velo or like last longer in games, like all that stuff. So it's like trying to get my legs as strong as possible, like while rehabbing elbow.
Do what you can when
do
you
what
can.
you can, yeah, exactly. Like take advantage of what you can do and just make the most of it.
So that brings me into kind of my next question. So with TJ, like you hear like 12 months or whatnot, give or take. What are you going to do in the next year to kind of return even better than before? Because you've been given this gift in a way. Obviously the injury is not a gift, but you have a month or a year to really attack your deficiencies and find a way to come back even better than you were beforehand. What are some things you're looking at throughout the recovery to kind of improve upon?
Yeah, I'm just viewing it as a blessing in disguise, kind of like you said, to have all that time to really focus on rehab and recovery. Like during this time, it's, you know, I'm not gonna be able to throw for a while, obviously, so I'm trying to like optimize my body as much as possible, and especially after 12 weeks, it's like pretty much full going in the weight room. So from now until, you know, when I get drafted and with the team, like their player development, it's all gonna be about just maximizing the recovery and just trying to get my body in the best shape possible, so when I go back on the mound, be even better. So
you're going to be obviously in good hands with professional baseball, right? So,
I'm
once you have
for
access to all of those
I'm excited for that.
avenues, I'm sure that they'll help so much with that. But that's cool that your thought is along the lines of a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Because it's a tough way to look at it, but that kind of shows the mental skills you must have developed over the last couple of years. The mental game of baseball is obviously so hard. Have you been able to deal with, you know, injuries and maybe even failure in the past, and how's that kind of motivated you?
Yeah, I would say just like failure comes with baseball, obviously. Like you're gonna fail a lot, it's just a part of it, and you just gotta embrace the failure. You know, like obviously you don't want to fail, but like at the same time, like you're like, okay, you failed, like make the adjustments for the next, like a pitcher, next outing, and then just build from what you learn. Like use the failure as like a learning experience. That's what I do whenever I fail. Yeah,
we can even see it in your brief kind of game log this year, right? Like first outing, shaking the rust off or whatnot, and then after that, you're absolutely lights out for the next couple starts during your season. Do you use like bad outings as motivation heading into the next week?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. My next question kind of revolves around, man. Obviously, one of the higher velocity guys you're going to see out there. Do you think that anyone can throw 102 miles an hour, or do you have to have a couple things going for you to be able to do that?
I don't know if anybody could throw 102, but I would say you have to get to that like level of velocity. I think you really need to like really attack like not just like baseball, but like off the field stuff like nutrition, diet, sleep, recovery. I think that like plays just as much of a factor as what you do when you know in your catch play and your strength and conditioning. So
do you like take careful notes on everything that you're doing as far as nutrition, weight room? Like, do you follow very strict plans with that?
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty like routine with that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely like helped me in college, especially just like developing that routine and just staying consistent. It's been like the two most important things that I've like done, and it's helped me like gain velo and become a better player.
Yeah. Are you a analytics and statistics guy?
A little bit.
Yeah.
We have a rep soto at school, so we'll look at the data sometimes, but I'm not like obsessed with it. If that makes sense. Like I'll just look at it. And, like if they tell me like, hey, if you do this, it'll help. Like, obviously, take what they say.
Use it as an aid, not an end all be all.
Aid and all be all. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want to go over some pitch grip super fast? Got a baseball right behind you. Talking about, you know, fastball grip to start out, what you're trying to do with it, and you know what you're going to see out of your fastball.
Yeah. So four seam fastball. Just trying to like rip it and let it ride, have that natural ride. Slider, like get on this horseshoe and just rip it too. Same thing, just like out twist, and then change up. I had a circle change grip this year, so just get on these 2 laces and just like. Obviously, it's a new pitch I've developed, so I'm still like doing trial and error, but I feel like it's developed a lot. It's just like here and then it's like a circle change, just like flash it like that.
Absolutely,
That's how it was this year.
Have you always been kind of a supinator or pronator, or kind of in between the both?
I'd say probably more of a supinator, if I had to guess.
Spin it pretty well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. My last kind of question before we get into some of the more fun stuff is you're at a mid-major, right? And you've been at mid-majors for your whole baseball career. Do you think that kind of motivates you / puts a chip on your shoulder because you might have been under-recruited, coming out?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it plays a big part of it, honestly. I didn't have much in high school. Like, you see all these other kids get to, like, USA and perfect game All-Americans, and I was, like, nobody. So, like, I feel like with that, it's definitely been I definitely used that as like motivation, like being someone I was like overlooked and undersized growing up, and just like always had that chip on my shoulder, like going to a small school. So
yeah, I mean, this past year you've really made a name for yourself, right? So that recognition is finally coming, and that must be a nice feeling that is proving you're on the right track.
Yeah, exactly. That's good.
Moving into some kind of more fun topics here. What was your walkout song this year, and why did you choose it?
Have a walkout song. I didn't have time to make one because like I hurt, and our first home weekend was 2 weeks after.
I didn't realize that.
Couldn't even make my walkout song.
Such a shame.
We played on the road for the first, we played on the road I think the first 6 weeks
weather,
this
right?
year. Yeah. It's snowing in April, so it's like
I should have
get out.
done a little more research. What was yours last year?
It was some old rock song.
Okay. Are you more of a cardio or a lifting guy? I have a feeling I know the answer.
Definitely lifting.
Cardio
is important too.
I haven't talked to a single pitcher who prefers cardio. And I don't know if I'll talk to anyone who prefers cardio.
No, yeah, definitely hammering the weights.
Yeah. What team did you grow up rooting for?
I grew up a Yankee fan.
Okay. What's your favorite ballpark food?
Burger.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger.
Absolutely. Favorite current song?
Rooster, Alice in Chains.
Yeah. That's a good walk-up song right there.
It is.
About it to be in the rotation.
Yeah.
And then lastly, who's your baseball GOAT and why?
Ohtani.
Okay.
Because he's a top pitcher and hitter in the best league in the world. It's like no one's ever done what he's done. I mean, the guy's sensational. It's like
Did you swing it pretty well in high school?
I could hit for sure.
Yeah. Do you ever have like two-way like dreams? Like you're like, dang, I wish I could hit still.
Not anymore, no.
Yeah.
In high school I did a little bit, but
grew out of that one.
Yeah, I grew out of that.
Hitting's hard, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Do you want to shout out your social media so that people know where they can find you?
Instagram, my name, Michael Salina, and then Twitter, I think it's Michael Salina 27.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it, and can't wait to kind of cheer you on through this process in the next year, too.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for interviewing me.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine. And I'm joined by a very special guest, Elon pitcher Justin Mitrovich. So, Justin, how's the Combine experience been for you so far?
Well, first, thanks for having me. It's been great so far. Everyone I've met has been really cool, and it's been a very good experience overall. I've really enjoyed my time, and I'm doing all the tests and stuff now, but everything's going well so far, and they've been very open arms, and it's been very good stuff.
Yeah, and you actually threw at the Combine too. That was yesterday, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that go in your eyes?
I thought it went well overall. I was trying to just work my stuff and kind of work middle. I'd have the catcher set up on the 2/3 a little bit just to get some sightseeing, but 4 pitches were in the zone, so I was happy with that, and velocity was there, it was in the season, so that was also a good sign, and I felt pretty good out there, so it was a lot of fun.
You looked like yourself out there. My biggest note, I take notes on all the guys you threw out. My big one was just command's great, man. You're spotting up out there with 4 good pitches, so we'll get into those in a little bit. The first thing I kind of want to talk about is, man, you're a workhorse this year. At 89 innings, what do you have to do to prepare your body for that kind of workload in a season?
Yeah, it starts with the routine. That's the biggest thing. Once you have a routine that you like and you can stick with, then you just make small little tweaks throughout the weeks.
Yeah.
And so if you have a bad outing, you'll go back, tweak some stuff through the routine. It won't like completely change, but it'll be little things here and there. And then you go about it a little bit differently. And each week's a little different the way you go about it. Some weeks are a little bit less, some weeks are a little heavier. So it really just depends. And then also the workload. As you get later into the season, you start throwing a lot more pitches and stuff starts to build. So you might dial back some of your catch plays so you'd be able to be sharp later in the week. But it's just the variability and like changing a little bit week by week, but keeping a solid routine from the start.
Yeah. Do you have like a specific go-to recovery method? Like some guys are, like contrast, like hot tub, cold tub, stuff like that. Some guys are just, training room, get it rubbed out, like figure it out. Do you have like a specific kind of thing to get you going on the right path?
Well, so the day after I won't throw. So I like doing that. I'm a big fan of that. I think it's you either throw the next day and take that following day off, or don't throw the next day. And that's kind of what I like. Recovery-wise, I'd ride the bike from anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes, and then I do some light stretching the day after. So that helps me out, and it's been like the start for each week. And then the day after that, I'll throw and hit a lower body. So that kind of gets me on the right page to move forward.
Absolutely, man. I want to talk about your revenge game versus William and Mary. It stands out, and to call it a revenge game might be too far, but that's how I saw it when looking at the numbers, right? A tougher outing the first time around when you faced them, and then you came out, guns a-blazing against them in the playoffs and won that game with your backs up against the wall. 5 innings with 1 hit ball, right? Or no, sorry, that was later in the season. I guess William and Mary in the playoffs, how did you kind of go into that outing, and was it a revenge game in your eyes?
Nah, I mean, I try to treat every game the same. I try to go about my work the same way. I try to get the same job done, But I will say the playoffs was a little different because that's when it matters the most. Yeah. So going into that, you subconsciously know that, like as a player, and you try to treat every game like a playoff game. You try to treat every game like a championship game, but subconsciously you know it's a little bit more important. Yeah. So I think that helped me out a little bit, but it didn't really matter to the team. Like in my head, I kind of was trying to do the same thing I would have done against any other team.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a trend within your outings of you perform really well when the lights are really bright, and that's not something that you can necessarily train, right? And then that goes to my next point is A&M, right? 5 innings, 1 hit ball to open up the season. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was something. I never really experienced anything like that before. Just the sheer fans. That was a very unique and cool experience. I've never been in a stadium where it's been completely packed out and like you have people heckling you and stuff. But it was a lot of fun, and it's unfortunate that we lost that game, honestly, and the series. But it was still a very unique experience, and like I was pretty grateful for being there.
I mean, a lot of close games in there, and A&M, people right away picked up on like, wow, like A&M is getting competed against this a good Elon team. So it was really cool to watch. I kind of want to go into pitch groups now. There's a baseball right behind you, I think. Yeah. So you got the 2 fastballs, the slider, and the changeup. Do you want to start off with the 4-seam fastball?
Yeah, it's pretty generic, and it's like most people's 4-seam, honestly. But I do go horseshoe in. Some people go horseshoe away.
Absolutely.
I go horseshoe in. It's kind of just been natural.
Yeah, and you get some ride on that.
A little
obviously.
bit. Yeah. And then my sinker is pretty. Not generic, but it's not anything crazy. Yeah. I do throw a 2-seam. I don't throw like 1-seam. And then I'll have like a little, not pressure on the index finger, but I'll get this like working before I throw it. Yeah. And then my thumb's just right under the ball. I mean, right under my index finger.
So you've got that split, which we can see in the velo difference, right? It kind of plays a little bit off of your fastball. Have you ever tried going tight, and why didn't that work for you?
I haven't tinkered with it a ton. Yeah. I kind of got something that I liked,
and I could throw. Don't mess it up.
For consistency reasons. But I think I'm very open to the idea of trying new things with it. It's more just so it kept off like a 2-0 count. I could just sink it and induce a ground ball. So that's kind of more the thought process behind it than anything.
Do you care too much about like the axis when you're throwing that pitch, or are you more so just like, let's just grip and rip this thing?
Well, so working with like TrackMan and stuff, I care about that stuff, and I want to get it in a good spot. But during the game, it's grip and rip. And you have the right, frame of mind of where you want to put it and let your body do the work. But it really, in the game, it's more just competing, and then out of the field, it's more like developing it.
If you practice it enough, you'll have the axis right in game. You don't have to think about, where's my hand at in space in the same way, right? Let's move on to that slider.
Yeah, so it's a little different, honestly. I always have the logo facing in my hand, and I'm kind of on the side of the ball, and I cork my finger.
Okay.
And I create a little bit of space between the two.
Yeah.
Because the further out, it's more cuttery, and then the further in together, like it's more slidery.
Absolutely.
And I just kind of throw it like a heater. And I try to stay on the right-hander's batter's box and just kind of rip it there and let it do its thing.
Are you throwing it? So you say you're throwing it like a heater. Does that mean you're kind of on the inside or the outside of the ball? One would say, and so you're just throwing it down and allowing it to kind of play off.
Yeah. So you want to just stay closed as long as possible, and naturally it's going to come off this finger like that, and it slides. Yeah, I mean, part of being able to do that grip is you got to have the big hands, right? Not a lot of people can do it. And I know Brash kind of founded that with Pitching Ninja a couple of years ago with putting your fingers like that. Yeah.
So that's really. How did you settle on that grip?
Well, so actually, my buddy, who shout out to Nolan Trinero, but he taught me this kind of grip.
Yeah.
He kind of holds it, I think, a little bit more on the side.
Yeah.
But he throws his rather pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I was asking him a bunch of questions, and we kind of worked it out to where it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so especially something really cool about the hard kind of cutter slider variation is you can open that thing up if you want to. It's really hard to go from this big slider to kind of tightening it up or whatnot. So you have like the firm, breaking ball that organizations are honestly looking for, right? And then you can obviously tweak it if necessary. But I think that's really cool how you kind of have a different grip than most people do. Yeah. Moving on to the changeup here. Changeup looked really good the other day. How do you throw that thing?
Yeah, so I throw like a 4-seam grip. I don't circle it really. I half circle it, and then I have my thumb underneath it.
Okay.
And my thumb kind of helps me control a little bit, but I already have the kind of movement in my head of what I want it to do. So I have just enough natural feel to kind of put it where I want.
Yeah, so I noticed you didn't have your fingers on the actual lace for the 4-seam. Is that something just with feel you don't need that kind of extra?
Yeah, it's just feel. I mean, if it was here, I could still do it, and if it was back more, I could still do it. It comes off feel.
Absolutely. And then are you kind of deeper in your palm, or are you more out on your fingertips when you're throwing that?
I'd say deeper in the palm. I have a lot of pressure on the 3 fingers, and so I naturally pronate pretty well. And so I used to throw a 2-seam one, and then before I got to college, my coach recommended I do 4-seam because I throw a 4-seam heater, and so I just slightly moved it over, and that's kind of what it turned into.
Absolutely, so now, kind of just a hypothetical question here. You got the 4 pitches. Let's say you're going to go 1, 2, 3 strikeout on a batter. How are you setting them up? How are you sequencing that thing? Your dream strikeout right here.
Well, so for a lefty, because lefties I throw a lot of changeups too. So if I can, I'll start off with a breaking ball, kind of just get ahead of the count, and then I'll go heater inside, get their eyes working in, and if it's a little bit up, I'm completely cool with that. And then I'll go changeup off that, and if, in a perfect world, if it's 0-2, I get that swing and miss on that changeup 0-2, and if it's 1-1, get a swing and miss on the changeup, and then I have a heater up or a changeup back, or go back foot slider. So
plenty of things to work on.
Yeah, that's a perfect world, but
you have an arsenal that plays really well to both sides. I actually just want to go back to the changeup for 1 second. You got it pretty dang close to 0 vert yesterday. Is vert something you're chasing on your changeup, or is that just kind of a happenstance with how you throw it?
It's just how I throw it. It's more just natural. Sometimes the vert's a little higher, and there's sometimes where it's 6 to 8, and sometimes it's 0. But honestly, it's the speed difference, and the horizontal helps a good bit. But it's mostly a speed difference and when to throw it. Because if you could throw it in an 0-2 count, 1-1 count, throw it in a hitter's counts, and if it's straight but way slower, you still get some swing and miss on it.
Absolutely.
So that's the biggest thing, is just the speed differential.
Yeah. I want to talk about your mentality on the mound. Are you kind of a guy that runs a little hotter? Are you more calm, collected, cerebral? Are you a thinker on the mound? Kind of what's going on inside your head when you're pitching?
It's more it's a mixture of a little angry, and then it's also being calm at the same time. in between innings, I'm controlling my breathing, I'm controlling my mind before I go to the next inning. And then when I'm actually facing the batter, it's more like go, and kind of like I already kind of know what I want to do.
Yeah.
Also, based on reports, I read them before the games, and I go through a little bit of video like leading up to the game. So I already have a rough understanding of what I want to do for most of the game.
Yeah.
And then it's just executing at that point. So
Absolutely. So talking about kind of almost channeling your anger or whatnot, are you a guy who has a chip on your shoulder? Because, you are a mid-major baseball player, and that's obviously great, and you're here, right? But do you have a little bit of chip on your shoulder, maybe been passed up or past performances? What kind of keeps you motivated, and what kind of is the foundation of that targeted anger on the mound?
Well, I would say my dreams are definitely one thing that, keeps me motivated.
Yeah.
But I honestly think, like, I saw at a young age where if I played more angry or played with some sort of edge, like, I performed better. Yeah. And so I'm not like a naturally, angry person or anything.
You seem like a real a-hole.
Yeah, but when I go in the game, like, it's like, all right, well, I only have 1 to 9 innings to throw per week, so I'm going to go out there and, make sure my mind's sharp, and that's what drives success for me personally. So, like, gaining some sort of edge, and that's kind of what it turned into.
It's really cool that you figured out what worked for you and you stuck to it, right? Because a lot of guys teeter between, like really high, really low, like emotional on the mound or whatnot, and you found out what worked for you. And I think that's a big underrated part of pitching. Kind of my last baseball-specific question here is the mental side of pitching, right? How do you deal with failure in a sport that is so harshly based on failing time and time again?
Yeah, it starts with routine. That's a big one. It starts with your routine. I also, especially my freshman year and in the years prior, I started working on my mental side a lot more. Yeah. And so that's helped me out a lot. But it starts with your routine. It's something you can trust. And like I said, you make little tweaks here and there. And then once you have that trust in your routine, you can, mimic it into the game. And then when things don't go well, which it happens, you know your routine's solid because it worked in the past. And you just kind of make little tweaks to, keep going. But I think once you trust that, and then, make sure your mind's sharp and always, like, keeping some sort of edge like we were talking about. It's, each inning in each game, like, I think it's 0-0. I never think it's, we're up 6-2 or whatever. I always keep it 0-0 in my head because that little pressure makes it so you're never, like, keep taking your foot off the gas.
That consistency, man, is really impressive. It really is. I guess I have one more baseball question for you here. What kind of statistics do you care about? So, like, first pitch strike percentage, first 2 out of 3, stuff like that. What stats are you looking at to kind of gauge where your performance is?
Yeah, so definitely walks. Yeah. If we won or not, that's the most important. Because, if we won, doesn't matter how you threw. We won. Yeah. We did something right. If we lost, all right, let's take a look back. Let's see what you did wrong. Maybe you threw well that day. Maybe you didn't. Yeah. But let's still go back and see how we can fix it. Because you kind of let the game dictate of what you need to do for that day. So, if it's a high-scoring game, all right, well, we need to get as many outs as possible, get us off the field, get zeros. And maybe it's a really low-scoring game, and it's 1-0 or it's 1-1. You got to keep it as close as possible. So, I think that's one thing. What was
so like let's even go over like the TrackMan side too. Like it seems like you're knowledgeable on that side as well. Like, what kind of things are you looking for?
Yeah, well, also I kind of forgot the question for a second,
no,
but
good.
To go back also a little bit, winning 0 counts, winning the 1-1s, and winning 0-2s and 1-2s and 2-2s, especially in 3-2-2. So like those are also statistics I worry about.
So you look at basically your statistics by count as well.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's because it's more like those are the ones you get the best results in. So you want to get to as many of those as possible. Yeah. If you get to a bunch of 0-2 counts, the game becomes a lot easier as a pitcher. And so how do you do that? You win your 0-0s, you win your 1-1s, so that kind of thing. And then from the TrackMan side, I make sure my stuff can stay consistent. Yeah. When it's spiked, when you have a good spike day, you're like, okay, like, cool. But that's not going to be every week. Yeah. But when you have a down week, you kind of want to see, like, hey, like, what was different? Like, was I opening up or was I, doing something different with my arm? So I think that's more what it comes down to, the TrackMan stuff.
Yeah, just having a well-rounded approach and taking the information in, but not letting it dictate who you are or whatnot. Absolutely, man. I got some more kind of rapid-fire non-baseball questions now to kind of get to know you a little more personally. First one is going to be pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Me personally, no. But I'm not a huge fan of pineapple. But
Okay.
to each their own.
Okay. What's the pizza order and what's the go-to pizza spot?
I like just plain, but I also like pepperoni. I also like mushrooms. Sausages. So,
Versatile.
Yeah, versatile.
Yeah.
If someone put pizza in front of me, I'd probably eat it. But yeah, it's good overall.
How about your karaoke song if you were forced to do karaoke? What's a song that you know?
I always like doing "We Will Rock You" by Queen,
Absolutely, yeah.
just because gets everyone else into
All
it.
ages too.
And and I'm not a great singer, so
Yeah.
and my friends can contest. I'm not very good at singing, but they'd have my back on that one because it gets everyone along and gets everyone into the crowd and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What was your walkout song this year, and why did you choose it?
it was "Reload." It was an EDM song.
Okay.
I did it in my past 2 years,
Yeah.
and so I kind of just stuck with it
Yeah.
for the last for the junior year, and so I always liked it. I thought about switching to a Johnny Cash song, but
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I liked it.
Which Johnny Cash song?
I was thinking about Man in Black.
Okay.
Man in Black.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you a YouTube guy / what's your favorite YouTube channel?
I don't really watch YouTube though.
Okay. What do you do in your free time? Then what kind of content are you bringing in? Or are you like not a phone guy?
Well, so I mean, I try not to be on my phone a ton, but I do read a lot.
Yeah.
I read every day. I learn about investing, all that stuff.
Okay.
Sometimes in my free time, but I started picking up golf and pool this past year. So,
There you go.
Yeah, I picked up golf a couple weeks ago, and I played. So me and my buddy built a pool table, and or I helped out. I helped him build a pool
Yeah.
table.
That doesn't sound that easy, if I'm being honest.
It's like I took a little bit of time, but it's not like crazy difficult. Like
Yeah.
leveling the slate is
Yeah.
it's super difficult on a pool
Yeah.
table. But we did that, and my roommates helped out as well, and so we
Yeah.
all built that together. And then we had that, so we should pool a lot.
Was that a in-season kind of like relaxing project, or was that after your season?
We did it before. We did it in the fall.
Okay.
So
Okay. There you go.
yeah, the fall we built it, so we had it throughout the fall and winter season, and it was always nice to go to shoot a couple games and then do whatever.
Yeah, and the PO golf stereotype, man. I mean, it's a lot in the world.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so I mean, my buddy were like, yeah, like you got to get into it. I was like, okay, like I'll try it, and
Yeah.
it's fun. I'm not very good,
No,
not
yeah,
yet, but I'm gonna work on it. So
Yeah. A couple more questions here. What do you think the best French fry is?
I like waffle fries.
Okay.
I like waffle fries.
Absolutely, there
That's
you
the
go.
first one that comes to mind.
Yeah. Second to last question here. Best M&M flavor. It seems like there's like 20 different M&Ms now. Have you found one that's any good or any better?
You mean
than the
like
original?
peanut or like
Yeah,
pretzel?
yeah.
Pretzel.
Type, I suppose. Yeah.
Pretzel M&Ms.
Underrated.
Those are good.
Yeah,
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 You
really
can't
good.
find them often, and
No.
they're really good.
Yeah. I'm a pretzel guy myself. So,
Yeah.
so last kind of question here is: who's your personal baseball goat, and why?
Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the way he went about the game. He really truly is like one of the first that kind of talked about tunneling and talked really about like harping on the mental side of the game, and I think that was super interesting. And I kind of took a lot away from like listening to him talk, and I always like watching his highlights and stuff like that.
It's a dang good goat right there.
Yeah,
man.
he's pretty good ball player.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure you've heard of him back home. Do you want to shout out your social medias now, just so people can know where to find you?
My Instagram is jmitro4, and my Twitter is just justinmit4.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine. And I'm joined by a very special guest, MJ Sweeney. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Absolutely, man. This is a thrill. First of all, JUCO guy. That was the main thing. I knew of you a little bit before this, but I saw JUCO guy, and I was like, I want all the JUCO guys this week. I want to interview all of them. I was a former JUCO guy. Before we get into your backstory, what does being a JUCO baseball player mean to you?
It's something that I feel like a lot of people who don't understand, they don't really quite get how it is. Just going out there, and it's a grind every day. Like we don't have, or at least at my JUCO, we didn't have any locker rooms. Everyone had to change in the parking lot and stuff, and so it's definitely a grind, but you meet some of your best friends there, and friends for life, and it was one of the greatest decisions in my life.
That's so awesome to hear. I always say in JUCO you have to go pick up your home run ball after you hit it. It doesn't matter if it was a winning home run or a walk off or whatnot, but you got to go get that ball because that costs $5. So just to give our viewers a brief background on you, kind of explain your baseball story growing up. Where did you play growing up? Were you on the travel ball circuit, and then your college journey so far?
Yeah, so growing up, as a young kid from like 6 to 8 years old, I played with a few different organizations until my dad he took over and he started a team called the San Diego Saints,
Okay.
and it was a Catholic-based organization where we would have devotions and pray before each game and stuff. But I did that from when I was, I think, 8U all the way to 14U.
Yeah.
And then once I got to high school, my dad let me go and said, it's your time to hear another person's voice, and you don't want to hear the same voice your whole life. So I was like, okay. And then, after that, I went to St. Augustine High School, where there's another prospect here, Grayson Bowles. And, I loved it there. Had a great time. And then out of there, I went to University of Texas. And things didn't really work out for me there, so I ended up at junior college at Grossmont, and now I'm heading to Wichita State next year.
How was the decision to go to Wichita State? What kind of drew you to that program?
It was really the coaches. The coaches stick out to me as the most important thing, and like Coach Green and Coach Rita and Coach D, they were huge, and just by showing me around, and I felt like I could trust them almost like my own dad. And so that's part of the reason why I committed there.
Absolutely. So speaking of your dad, Mike Sweeney, a 5-time All-Star, kind of Royals legend, how was it kind of growing up around Major League Baseball, and how do you think that influenced you heading into today?
Yeah, I think growing up as a kid, my dad showing me around the locker rooms and hitting on the field and throwing me BP and stuff has helped me tremendously. And I certainly would not be here without my dad and my grandparents both my grandpas who both played professional baseball. And
It runs in the family.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool, man. So right now you've been playing in the Northwoods League. You've been a summer ball guy the last 3 years now. What makes summer ball so magical? What's the difference between kind of school ball? Do you have a preference, first of all? Some guys prefer summer, some guys prefer school. Kind of walk me through your summer ball journey and how much you've enjoyed those experiences.
Yeah, so I've really enjoyed summer ball. Going into my freshman year for college, I played in Wenatchee, Washington. I played for the Wenatchee Apple Sox, and then last year I played for the Duluth Huskies, and this year I'm playing for the Madison Mallards. But I love summer ball so much just because you get to play every single day, and whether you have a good day or a bad day, it's a reset, and go get them the next day.
Have you ever been the beer batter?
I have been the beer batter.
Have you struck out as the beer batter?
One time I went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts.
The fans must have been all over.
Oh, they were loving it. They were loving it. Yeah.
Is there a little bit part of you though that you're like, at least I made someone happy today, even if I didn't have success as the beer batter?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like most of the time when I'm the beer batter, I make an effort not to strike out, and I usually don't. But that was just one day in particular. I was not seeing the ball well at all, and just I couldn't tell you what was going on in the box.
It happens to everyone, man. The beer batter's always funny when I'm out watching games. I feel bad for that kid because it's an approach change, right? You don't want to strike out. You're just hoping for singles at that point. So you're a multi-sport guy in high school, right? What sports did you play, and do you think that helped you in your baseball journey?
Certainly. I played a little bit of football in high school. I played on the offensive line, defensive line, and I was a little bit of a kicker as well. And I think that definitely helped me as far as my versatility, and also just getting stronger and stuff. It was really, really fun.
Yeah. Back when I played, we had a first baseman who was a former offensive lineman. He could steal bases like no one's business because he had the best feet of anyone. The quickest feet, never could get picked off. So I always think of like, those O-linemen, former O-linemen, you got to watch out for them on the base paths. They got quick feet.
Right, exactly.
So this is your first day here, right? So you've hit BP, you've run through some infield drills and such. Kind of what's the experience been so far for you? Only 3 hours into this whole draft combine, and what are you looking forward to the most this week in Arizona?
Yeah, I mean, well, the big thing I was really looking forward to this week was even though I was coming to Arizona, my dad and my brother were also coming to Arizona as well because they have a baseball tournament. So getting the chance to see them last night was it was like the first time I saw them in about a month, so that was pretty special. But being out here, just
right
like,
here.
yeah, just seeing the field and stuff is pretty magical. I've never been here at this stadium, but as far as everything that they're doing for us, as far as the hotel and the food, and it's all they're all doing a really good job, and thank you to MLB for that.
It's a really special place and special experience. So I have a question for you. First of all, what are you planning on majoring in at Wichita State?
I'm majoring in sports management.
Okay. So if baseball did not exist, purely hypothetical, obviously we would both probably be out of jobs if baseball didn't exist. What do you think you would do with your life if baseball didn't exist?
I honestly don't even know, to be honest.
Me too.
I mean, maybe like a professional kickball player or something. I like kickball growing up as
Is
a
there
kid.
professional kickball?
I don't know. I'll make one up.
That's funny. We'll move into some more rapid fire questions here. So we'll call it kind of this or that. So first of all, mountains or beaches?
Oh, beaches for sure. I live in San Diego.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
easy.
Yep. Who is the GOAT baseball player?
The GOAT baseball player has got to be George Brett.
Is that Royals bias shining through?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. Cats or dogs?
Dogs for sure.
I don't think anyone's going to say cats this
No.
week. I don't
No,
feel-
not
I
at
feel
all.
Like baseball players are cat guys. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yeah, I can certainly stand it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay, no strong opinions. That's the one where most people have really strong opinions,
Yeah.
and it's like a fight.
No, I'm pretty neutral on that.
Okay. Favorite baseball video game?
I don't play video games, but growing up as a kid, I used to play the Bigs 2. My dad was in it, so
Yeah.
on the Wii, and so that was pretty fun.
Wii baseball video games were kind of peak childhood. For
Yes,
sure.
yes, that was the greatest time.
What was your walk-up song last year? And do we have any thoughts? Like, do you care about your walk-up song, first of all?
I do care about my walk-up song. When I choose a walk-up song, I want it to be something that I like, but something that the crowd's also going to like. And so this year in summer ball and junior college, we don't have walk-up songs, but last year in Duluth, I had Suavemente,
Yeah.
and it got me going, but also got the crowd going as well.
Do you have any early thoughts on what maybe a future walk-up song might be? Like, are you a playlist guy? Like, do you have options? Do you have anything you've been
Yes,
listening
yeah.
to lately?
I have like a big playlist with probably about 100 songs
I
of
think
just
every
walk-up
baseball
songs.
player
Yeah,
does.
it can be. Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah. Okay, this is a question I'm going to ask everyone this week. What is the best French fry?
In and out, but you have to get them extra crispy.
Okay. I was
And
gonna say
extra
that
salt.
might be a hot take, but I can get behind that. I'm one of the few who likes. It doesn't feel like that many people like In-N-Out fries. I don't know if you've heard that, but
Right.
that's where I am. Okay, so kind of moving into the last portion of this interview, I want to talk about the mental game of baseball because it is what everyone says 90% mental or whatnot. What kind of mental skills have you developed over the years, and what has kind of been your mental approach to baseball to make it through such a tough sport where failure is almost expected?
Yeah, I think the one big thing is approaching the box. If you can focus on things that you can control, getting a barrel on the ball, hitting the ball hard, that's all that matters. And for me, like when I'm in a game, that's all that matters for me. Because after I hit it, I can't control what the defense does with the ball. But if I can hit the ball hard, I call it a win each time.
Control the controllables. I love that. I love that so much. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us here. I can't wait to see kind of what you do the rest of the week and throughout your career. And we'll be rooting for you, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Combine. And I'm joined by a very, very special guest here, Myles Patton, left-handed pitcher, an absolute workhorse. And that's going to lead me right into my first question right off the bat. 77 innings, and I got 1,185 pitches on the year. How do you do it, and how do you stay ready to pitch that kind of volume?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is you got to really prioritize recovery, and you got to just dominate the basics. I think just being average with all the basic stuff, like sleeping, you got to prioritize that. Eating, just getting your meals in, like don't skipping meals, and then I think just a big thing is kind of finding what works for you, finding what you like with the recovery side, whether go to your trainer for soft tissue, cupping, whatever, just getting into the sauna, getting in the hot tub or cold tub, whatever it is, just trying out different things and seeing whatever helps you, and not trying to do too much. You don't need to try and make it too in-depth. Just keep it simple and keep it something easy you can just repeat.
Absolutely. Target what you need to.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I want to get into a little bit of the art of pitching. The first pitcher we've had on here, and I got baseballs. So here, I got this one for you right here.
Sweet.
And I want to talk a little bit of pitch grips. I know Pitching Ninja, right?
Okay.
He's a couple doors down, but I kind of want to dive into your mind. I'm a pitching coach myself, so
Okay.
I kind of want to hear what you got to say. You want to walk me through your mix and your grips and kind of what you're thinking on each of the pitches?
Okay, yeah, so this is going to be a good one because by the end of the year, I was throwing 7 different pitches.
No way.
Yeah,
okay,
so
so our
we gotta-
camera's right there. This is great. This is my dream right here. I threw 6. I was a collegiate baseball player, so this is what I'm all about.
Okay.
So walk me through the fastballs.
Okay, so first off, you got the 4-seam fastball. That's kind of the bread and butter right there. Just keeping it simple. I like to go on the horseshoe on the inside. I think it's kind of different. I think a lot of people go horseshoe on the outside, but just for me, really just trying to stay behind it and just carry it. That's the main thing there. And then I was throwing a sinker, like a 2-seam. Here, and really just trying to keep the same arm angle, but just kind of get that axis a little different, so you're getting the smooth part on top and kind of seam shifting it down.
Absolutely.
And then I was going cutter, which would kind of be off the fastball, and I would just get a little tilt right there.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much throwing it the same as the fastball, just a little bit of kind of different wrist angle.
Yeah.
And you try and get on the side of it, kind of almost football spinning a little bit.
Absolutely. Now, are you a supinator or a pronator?
I'm a pronator.
Okay.
Yeah, so I get good efficiency behind the ball. So definitely pronator.
Great.
Yeah, so you got those 3 as kind of the fastball, like triangle fastball.
Yeah.
And then I was going my traditional slider. I just get on the inside of the horseshoe. Can they see it right there? Yeah.
Yep.
So get on the inside of the horseshoe and really just try and come down on it like that.
Yeah.
And for me, like when I try and get around it like there, it didn't really work. It'd be just lifted and like one horizontal, so it wouldn't be what I wanted. So I just try and come down on it, and kind of my wrist angle would just take it to the side. And then I was going curveball, so the same as the slider grip, but I would just spike the index or the pointer finger.
Absolutely.
Go there. Same thought on it, just coming down. Then I was going sweeper as well.
Oh yeah.
So we're going like I was on here for the slider, and we turn the other side of the horseshoe and go like a little baby spike right there.
Yep.
And this one I would really try and get around, just get as much horizontal as possible.
Yeah.
That's 6. Oh, and then the kick changeup is what I was going to. That was one of my good ones right there. Just kind of like a circle change and kicking that middle finger up right there.
Yeah. Did you struggle to throw like a typical changeup early in your career, which is why you switched to the kick change? Did you kind of toy around with that?
Yeah, like I really it was always like unorthodox kind of changes. I tried to throw like a circle change when I was young, and it just was kind of a bad fastball. So last year I was going like a kind of a splitter and really trying to rip through with the middle finger and kind of seam shift it that way. But then this year we're just kind of was throwing the changeup, because the big thing that we wanted to work on this year is getting the speed differential on it. So getting that kind of a couple miles an hour off the fastball more than it already was. And so the kick changeup, I would throw it with my full intent, but it wouldn't come out as hard, which is the biggest thing for me.
Kicking the axis, getting a little bit of vert on that thing.
Yep, killing that.
How much into the numbers are you as a pitching guy? Would you classify yourself as one of those kind of more pitching nerds, or do you kind of just look at your TrackMan reports and go, all right, this is what I'm working on?
I would probably, to like normal standards, probably consider myself a pitching nerd,
Absolutely.
I guess. But I think there's room for both sides of the equation. I think that all the numbers and the data isn't valuable if you don't also have just the competitor inside of you.
Yeah.
And so I think they kind of go hand in hand. And I think when you can truly combine both of them together is when you get the most out of the process.
Yeah. So the mental skills of being a pitcher is one of the most underrated parts of the game. Dealing with failure, understanding that it's inevitable that you're going to give up a run at some point. How do you deal with failure, and what mental skills have you learned along the way that have really helped you out?
I think the biggest thing is being extremely present. As something we talk about, is being chronically present. I think it's tough. I think separating your feelings as a competitor and your feelings as a human is one of the toughest things to do in all sports, but specifically pitching. Like, you get up a home run and your initial reaction is you're pissed, you're mad about that, and it's upsetting. It's obvious, and I think everyone that goes through that is going to be upset for a second, but being able to realize that your feeling as a human in that moment doesn't matter, and you put it to the side, and the competitor inside you doesn't change. Like, your objective doesn't change. You still are trying to do the exact same thing as you wanted to do the pitch that you gave up a home run. So just keeping it that simple and being extremely present, being able to wipe that off, move past it as quick as possible, and just recommit to the next pitch is the biggest thing.
Absolutely. I mean, you can hit your spot perfectly with a pitch, and it can still get hit 450 feet, right?
100%.
And it's really hard to deal with.
Yeah, as soon as it leaves your hand, you lose control of the results. So
Absolutely.
just controlling everything you can control up to that point, and then I think when you do that over a long sample size, it's gonna work out in your favor more times than it doesn't.
But absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I want to talk a little bit about your college journey here and how you settled on Texas A&M and what made it feel like home to you.
I got in the portal after my sophomore year at Long Beach State. Long Beach State was great to me. It was an awesome place. It was kind of my hometown college. Super cool experience there, and then got in the portal. And I think the biggest couple things that A&M provided was first, just needing a role for a starting pitcher to come in and fill that role, which is a big thing. Obviously, want to pitch. That's important. And then I think the coaching staff and having a clear development plan was a big thing. Seeing just like a clear understanding of how I was going to get better and where we could improve those areas. And then I think just being in a winning culture, I think it didn't obviously work out to our expectation in retrospect, but I think going into the year we had all the talent and just as good of an opportunity as anybody to have success from a team perspective. So I think those three things are really important to me. And then just the coaching staff I felt like really connected with right away, which has just made it super comfortable and easy choice for me.
Absolutely. I'm going to get into some more rapid fire questions here.
Okay.
A little less baseball.
Okay.
There'll be a little baseball mixed in. Cardio or lifting?
Lifting for sure. 100%.
I don't think anyone's going to say cardio this week, especially not a pitcher, but I feel like I have to ask it because maybe we'll get a cardio guy.
That's fair.
What is the biggest benefit of attending the Combine in your eyes?
I think just being able to let the teams put a face behind the name. I think they watch you as a pitcher and they watch you as a player, but then being able to really show kind of your understanding of yourself and your understanding of the game kind of behind just who you are as a player is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite song right now? What's in your rotation? What are you currently listening to?
Let me think. Country reggae. It was Wahila Aloy's walkout song in Arkansas. It was just something about it just was special. We were playing it the whole rest of the season after we played it. It was an awesome song.
It's one of those moments where you're kind of like, I don't want to love the guy's walk-up song, but it's pretty cool. I've done it before too. What was your walk-up song this year, by the way?
Walkout
song.
What was my? Oh, it was Views by Drake.
Nice.
I'm a huge Drake guy, so gotta love that.
It get you in the mindset?
Oh yeah, it just locks me in.
Yeah. Would you rather drive the car or be in the passenger seat on Ox?
Definitely be in the passenger seat. I don't want to get in an accident.
Some people refuse to give up the steering wheel, right?
Yeah.
So you never know. Go-to road trip snack if you were theoretically on a road trip?
Sour Patch Kids or watermelons, which either one of those is just unbelievable.
Undefeated, right?
Yeah.
What kind of stats do you look at when you are pitching? Is there a certain one in particular that A&M focused on, like 2 out of the first 3 or first pitch strike percentage, or is there anything kind of in the weeds that you really focus on as a pitcher?
In zone percentage, biggest thing. Just zone never changes, only our perspective can, which is the big thing we talk about. And I think if you throw the ball in the zone, it's going to work out in your favor more times than it doesn't.
Absolutely. My last question here is, who's your baseball GOAT and why?
Growing up a Dodgers fan, Clayton Kershaw for sure. Just seeing him throughout all these years, just stay consistent, stay healthy for the most part. Dealing with some injuries later on, but just how consistent he's been throughout all of it has been something really special to watch.
Yeah. Is that someone you kind of modeled your game after?
It's. I don't know. I don't want to know if I say that because he's just such a. He's probably the pitching GOAT. But it's tough to compare myself to him. I suppose
inspiration or whatnot.
Yeah, you could definitely say something like that. Just kind of his demeanor on the mound, having fun with it, staying composed, not getting too high or too low for sure is some things that I idolize out of him.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. And
Definitely.
Do you want to shout out your social medias right quick so people know where to find you?
Yeah, sure. My Instagram is Myles Patton with 2 S's on the Miles. My ex, I guess not Twitter anymore, is Myles Patton 5. That's all I'm running right now.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate having me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine, doing interviews here, and we have a familiar face for you guys. Mikhail Holden is back with us. Previously, you talked to Drew, and that was one of my favorite interviews on the site. Such a good conversation about baseball and life and so many other things, and we're so thankful that you made some more time to be on here with us today. So how's your combine been going?
It's been going great. It's definitely a joy, and I'm blessed and thankful to be out here, especially with all the top prospects in the country. So definitely excited to be out here.
It's pretty cool. I missed your bullpen. I was up here doing some interviews. How did that go for you? How did you feel out there on the big mound?
I felt really good. Felt like my shapes were good. The ball came out of the hand really well, so
absolutely.
Felt good.
Yeah, that's you can't complain, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about pitching in general. So I've been doing kind of the pitch grips thing with a lot of people here. So there's baseball behind you. Now I want you to kind of walk us through your different pitches and what you're thinking with your grip and your release and so forth. So let's start out with the fastball.
Yeah, so I throw like a rod cut four seam,
Okay.
so I tuck my thumb under,
Yeah.
and then I naturally have a longer middle finger than a pointer finger, so
Yeah.
I get that natural cut.
Yeah.
So, and then my two seam sinker-ish.
Okay.
Is there. I just kind of just try to rip it, just grip it and rip it.
Yeah, thumb on the side. Is that kind of where you find your comfort at?
Yeah, I made an adjustment during high school season because it was a little bit more verty.
Yeah.
In the high school season, I wanted more depth on it, so I kind of moved to the side, so
Yeah.
I just stuck with it.
Are you thinking about kind of angling wrist at all, or are you throwing it just the same wrist action as your fastball and letting the grip do the work?
Well, I'm a supinator, so it's just I'll naturally get around the ball.
Yeah.
So
You're getting
with
that
me
seam
getting-
shift?
yeah, a little bit.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I really don't want to like try to get into it,
Yeah.
but I mean, it works.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
stick with
right.
it.
That's
so.
my job, right? The seam shifted wake stuff is fun, especially when you do it without even knowing. Like, oh
Yeah.
wow, I could throw like I coach or whatnot, and teaching like a young kid who cuts the ball really well, they can actually fade something is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite off-speed pitch of yours right now?
I would have to say that my slider and my changeup.
Okay.
I kind of like redid my changeup because
Okay.
it was harder for me to get on the inside of the ball
Yeah.
with a traditional circle change. So I kind of went to a Vulcan,
Okay.
little Vulcan grip.
Yeah, let's show
and
that
then-
grip off. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of like
Absolutely,
that, and
yeah.
then just kind of just rip it.
Yeah.
So
Do you have any cues for that at all? Or are you thinking anything different, or are you thinking throwing like a fastball?
I'm really thinking throw it like through his face mask because
Okay.
I know like if I try to aim low and try to get
Yeah.
try to play the bottom of the zone, I'm
Yeah.
gonna spike it. So
Absolutely.
I just try to aim at his catcher's mask
Yeah.
and then just let it work.
Yeah. And now, how about for the slider?
My slider, it's more like a slider cutter.
Absolutely.
So I kind of, it's the same grip as my two seam, but I kind of move the thumb under
Okay.
and kind of keep a more firm wrist on it and then just rip it. So
Yeah. So something I've always heard is to keep a slider hard, you think cutter when you're throwing it, and if
Yeah.
you're a supinator, you'll naturally kind of get that little extra. Are you trying to throw that slider as hard as you possibly can when you
Yeah.
throw it? Okay.
that's why it's my favorite off speed because
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's not really off speed in my head,
Yeah.
but I mean, I just
Well,
grip it and
you're
rip
really
it.
not that far off from a fastball grip. Like, this is a comfortable grip, right? You're
Yeah.
pretty tucked too. So
Yeah,
absolutely. Have you ever played around with any other pitches, or are those kind of your four right there?
I also have a curveball as
Absolutely,
well. It's
yeah.
like a 11-5 shape. I just
Okay.
kind of try to get on top of it.
Yeah.
And with my natural arm slot, I mean, I really can't get a 12-6,
Mm-hmm.
so it's really on the side and just get that natural 11-5 shape to it. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have any kind of cues that you do with the curveball as far as grip? Are you thinking release early on it? I've heard that one thrown around a lot. I've heard, strong wrist, pull a chain down in front of you.
Yeah.
Do you have like a cue that you prefer for the curveball?
I really just try to one, I make sure my thumb is kind of like diagonal to my
You
middle
create
finger.
that straight line between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of just try to just get on top of it and then just try to just pull it down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my thing.
It's
just pull it
natural,
down.
some
Yeah.
might say. Absolutely. So my next question here is if you had a dream 1, 2, 3 pitch sequence for a strikeout, how would you set a batter up and how would you finish them off?
Well, I would say if I could throw these pitches, I would do sweeper,
Yeah.
sweeper to start off,
Okay.
righty sweeper,
Yeah.
and then
Are you freezing him on that, or is he swinging through it?
just swinging through it,
Okay.
and then I like to throw a sinker in, just
Yeah.
kind of make that tunnel.
Yeah.
Probably go back to another sweeper,
Yeah.
but just throw as hard as I can, just
Yeah.
get that pitching ninja tight sweeper,
Right?
So,
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do here. If you can't tell with the grips and stuff.
Yeah.
So when you're on the mound, do you have like a phrase that defines you? So I've heard, attack, dominate the zone, stuff like that. MLB orgs do it, college teams do it all the time. My personal motto when I used to be a pitcher was F you on the mound.
Yeah.
Right? There's a bunch of different mottos. Do you have a phrase that defines you as a pitcher or that you think of?
Yeah, I have two. It's just go be you.
Yeah.
Just kind of don't try to be like anybody else. You're good enough, so just go out and be yourself.
Absolutely.
And then really just like that, really like a freak you mentality.
Yeah.
I'm better than you, so just go out and
It's the
compete.
confidence in your preparation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've prepared a lot for this. Moving into this draft cycle and throughout the summer, what is it that you're really trying to improve in your game right now?
Really, just overall in my training. I know early in my career I just kind of just focused on just getting big,
Yeah.
but now it's really honing in on pitching, pitching more, more focused on pitching workouts. So
Absolutely.
focusing on rotational power, core
Yeah.
power, how much force I can go produce to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what I'm focusing more on. So I'm excited.
You can kind of dedicate your life almost a little bit more to baseball now with high school being over and stuff like that.
exactly.
Like you have the free time to really dive into the pitching head on. I think that's really cool. My last kind of baseball topic for you is the mental game of baseball, right? Baseball is a game of failure.
Yeah.
You could throw a perfect pitch dotted on a corner, it could get sent 450, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. How do you stay sane knowing that you're going to fail in this sport time and time again? How do you persevere through that?
Yeah, so understanding, obviously my faith is very important in my life, so understanding that, I can only control what I can control and everything else out of my hands. So just going out there and competing, being myself, and overall just being me and understanding that, everything else out of my control, I did all the preparation and that I can do. So I feel confident in my game and who I am. So, overall that's just how I attack this game.
You've earned this, right? You've earned this. So in Drew fashion, because he's not here with us, we have our other podcast co-host with us. It's a little weird. Actually, what do you think did you just hear me say what his name was?
I'm gonna say Jack. He looks like a Jack.
He looks like a Jack.
Yeah.
I'm just not even gonna tell you his name. I'm gonna start calling him Jack now. But I printed out a picture of our other co-host. But Drew loves the this or that and rapid fire questions. So in Drew fashion, he sent me some, and I'm gonna go over a couple of these with you really quick.
Let's do it.
Okay. What is the best M&M flavor? Type of M&M. There's so many now. What's your favorite?
I'm not really an M&M's guy.
Okay.
But I like the green ones.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I like the green ones.
The green M&M. Favorite ballpark food?
Favorite ballpark food? Gotta go with the funnel cake.
Mm-hmm.
Funnel cake. Let's do a foot long.
Okay.
And some nachos.
Yeah. That's a whole. That's a feast for a king right there. Are you a YouTube guy / what's your favorite YouTube channel? Just kind of watch mindlessly.
I'm definitely a YouTube guy. I'm not really into the Netflix. So I'm really YouTube, watching highlights, MLB games, and really just I may sound random, but fishing videos.
Okay.
I like to see people fishing. It's just it's interesting because you don't know when they're gonna hook on to the fish. And they don't know what kind of fish it's gonna be. So.
I love that. It's calming, right? I play Fishing Simulator on the PS5, right? It's like you're just sitting there doing nothing. Are you a fisherman? Do you fish in your?
I do fish.
time?
Yeah.
Okay.
During my free time, it's more I fish out with my friends.
Yeah.
So it's really just a peace of mind and just get my mind off of baseball. Just
unwind.
Just
right?
be me. Yeah.
There's nothing better than having a hobby with the boys, right?
Yeah. And also I really want to go deep sea fishing.
Okay.
It's really just to see the.
Absolutely.
The struggle and get a 500-pound fish.
Have you ever seen Dangerous Catch?
I haven't. No.
It's terrifying because they're the deep
sea
fishermen.
Hold on. Yeah. I have.
I get those clips on my Instagram or whatever all the time, and they're a lot could go wrong on those boats. There's some big waves out there, man. I don't know.
Especially on New Zealand area. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, but there's some crazy fish. The biggest things you've ever seen in your life, man.
Yeah.
Okay, this is in honor of Reese. Do you like the idea of the deep sea and the unknown down there?
No, not at all.
I agree with you. He thinks the deep sea is so cool.
I mean,
it scares me.
I can see where he's coming from, but
nah. Yeah.
Because it could be a 600-foot fish that we don't even know about. Oh yeah. That's 25,000 meters below.
There's those crazy fish that hang out in the deep sea, and they're the ugliest looking things. Scary, straight over nightmares. I'm not about it. But my last question for you today is who your baseball GOAT is and why. It doesn't have to be the unanimous best player of all time, but who's your personal GOAT?
Mine has got to be Randy Johnson, just because
in Arizona too.
Yeah, it's true. He's a dog.
Yeah.
So I like to pick across his brain and understanding he had to fail first before he succeed early in his career. So understanding that and where he is and understand that he just had to keep working. Yeah. And so I like his mindset, the way he attacks hitters and who he is. So
that's a great pitcher. That's a scary pitcher GOAT.
Yeah.
That's cool. Teams
should
be
and he's you see him and he's like a behemoth and he's scary. So that's what I want to be. So.
Do you think you have a similar kind of presence on the mound?
I do.
Are you getting there? Okay. I haven't seen you play in person. I'm gonna have to now.
Yeah. It's
you got the Randy Johnson aura.
It's off the field, I'm just regular, but on the field, it's I'm a really intense guy on the field.
Absolutely.
So I like that part of my game.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been so much fun once again. Quickly shout out the socials. Let the people know where to find you. Now you're a current guest at Prospects Live, which means that you can come back anytime you want.
Yeah.
So go ahead and shout yourself out, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, for sure. So you can follow me on Instagram at Mikhail.Holden, all_, and on Twitter at all lowercase, Mikhail Holden.
Great. So, go follow them, guys, and thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine, and I am joined by, we were just talking about it, maybe the most infamous guest in Prospects Live history, Xavier Neyens. This is your third time joining a Prospects Live type of show, so we appreciate the love that you're showing us, and and all that. And I just want to check in. How's the combine been for you, and what are you really getting out of this experience here?
The combine's been awesome. I'm just doing meetings here, so it's been good for the most part. You just kind of go into the rooms. I get asked some different questions. It's usually rinse and repeat, but it's been going super well.
Absolutely, that's great to hear. You just won a high school state championship, and on our last time that we talked, you had mentioned that you were in playoffs at the time, and your goal was to win the championship after getting second place the year before in Washington State. What was that feeling like, finally winning the state title?
It was amazing. Like, honestly, it still hasn't kicked in fully yet that I'm a state champion, but getting the final out and hosting that trophy up, it was something that we missed doing last year, and it was awesome to do it this year.
The 4 years building to that moment, right?
Yeah,
you ended on the highest possible note that you could have.
The best way to go out.
You've got some momentum heading into this summer, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk a little bit about what you're working on right now. So you got a little time off from playing games and all that right now. What are you really kind of in the lab on right now, as far as your swing or just baseball in general?
Yeah, like baseball in general, swing wise, just keep on doing my thing. Like, I'm just trying to really simplify it as much as possible, make sure there's no wasted movement, so I can be efficient as possible in my swing, and then keep lifting weights, keep throwing the baseball a little bit. So yeah, and also working on a lot of glove work.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Moving on to something we talked about last time, have you been able to go see Shenton play in Tacoma, and how's your relationship with him going? Has he been kind of helping you out through this process?
Yeah, he's definitely been helping me out through this process quite a bit. I call him probably once every couple days, and we just chat it up for 45 minutes if he's on the ride home from the ballpark. But I've only gotten to see him once. It's hard to get down to Tacoma.
But Seattle traffic, man.
Yeah, for sure. And and they usually play late at night, and then Mount Vernon's not close to Tacoma. So I've only seen him once, but the one game I did go to, he hit a walk-off homer. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, there you go. And he obviously didn't attend the Draft Combine because it's a newer event, but he has been in these meetings before or whatnot, and is obviously a great resource. So it's really cool you got a guy like that.
For sure.
Diving into the hitting side a little bit more, what's kind of your go-to hitting drill nowadays, and kind of what's your thought process behind doing it?
Yeah, I like to do one-hand drill stuff, especially when if you feel like you're pulling off the ball a little bit, rolling over too much, or you're not staying through that outside pitch. My go-to is just one-hand drills and really trying to stay through center field, because for me, I feel like that gets me locked in. So before any full swings in BP, it's bottom hand, top hand, working through center field, and I run through that about twice.
Are you using the short bat for that, or are you using the regular?
I'm just
bat?
using my regular bat, choke up a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. Talking a little bit about mental skills here, right? We talk about baseball as this game of failure, where you can fail 7 times out of 10 and be a Hall of Famer. What kind of mental skills have you been developing over the years that have served you well and maintained your love for the game despite the failure built into everything?
Yeah, just knowing that failures are part of the game, and it's something that's going to happen, and knowing the right way to deal with it, instead of taking failure and saying, man, I suck. Taking it and use that failure to get better, learn from that failure, and ultimately then failure is going to happen, but if you can learn from it, you can really benefit.
Are you a guy who gets motivated by your failures? Do you look back on times and maybe you weren't up to your own standard, and do you use that to fuel you today?
For sure, yeah, for sure.
I love that. One last thing, we did talk a lot of Legos last time we were on the pod. Any new Legos? What are we working on right now? Anything you're looking at, maybe?
Yeah, I got what's it called? I got the Technic F1 Technic set. Yeah. I've never built a Technic set.
That's what you were saying.
My uncle got it for me. He's like, yeah, I watched your interview and you said you'd never built one, so I got it for you. So I got that one. I haven't started it yet, but I'm definitely gonna probably get into it here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, you got a little bit of time. School just finished and all that. So leading up to this draft cycle, we appreciate you coming on so much, and wishing you the best of luck. And
of course.
And yeah, thank you for being the Prospects Live recurring guest, man.
Of course,
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Draft Combine, and I'm joined by a very special guest, Trace Phillips from Middle Tennessee, draft-eligible sophomore, notably, and he's a two-way, and we're so glad to have you on and talk some baseball with you. My first question is, I don't know a whole lot about Middle Tennessee. Why did you choose MTSU, and what was kind of like the reason for that?
So I was originally committed to University of Memphis, had a little coaching change. So decommitted pretty late. I was trying to find, a place to go, and had a couple opportunities, but at the end it was MTSU felt like a home place for me. So it's been super great for me being able to two-way there, especially as a freshman. So it was pretty awesome place to be.
Yeah. So you faced some adversity this year, obviously with injuries and such. How are you kind of battling through that, and where are you at right now in your process?
Yeah, so got hurt in the middle of the year, and first time I've ever been out. So trying to kind of realize where I was and stuff like that. So it's been rough, but having people to kind of help me on the outside has been huge for me. And I get back, I'm ramping it back up again. So kind of eager to get going again for sure. But it was a tough process, but got through it as best as I could, and now we're here. So.
Yeah. How do you mentally deal with an injury, and especially saying that was the first time you've missed time, right? I know it takes a mental toll to kind of go through an injury. How did you kind of bounce back and stay locked in and keep preparing for your summer and your future through an injury like that?
I mean, you kind of just got to trust the process.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I just told myself I'm going to be the best teammate I could be. Yeah. Whether that's first going out of the dugout, trying to help people behind the scenes and stuff like that. So doing whatever I could for the team, even though I wasn't able to do anything on the field for the team. Yeah. So just trying to have that mindset going into it.
Yeah, stayed locked in, sounds like. My next question is a little less serious. How cool is it being a two-way in college?
It's awesome. I mean, I love it. It's definitely it's like a prideful thing almost. A little confidence booster, but no, I love it. I mean, both sides of the ball, like originally being a hitter mainly, and then pitching was just kind of something that I was decent at, and then it's kind of arose. So it's cool to see everything kind of come into play for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that you just have so much left in the tank because you have been kind of splitting your time between both, where you're just scratching the surface kind of on both sides of the ball?
No, absolutely. It's exciting to think about. Obviously, I'm going to try to do this as long as I can, but it's definitely something to think about, and knowing that I have some stuff kind of left to give too. So
yeah, absolutely. And we really kind of saw you take off from last year to this year, and you had an incredible freshman season, right? But like the stuff on the mound has taken a huge jump since then. What do you credit most to that kind of uptick in velocity and just pitchability in general?
I think the off season was big for me. Not playing summer ball, kind of just sitting back and getting healthy, developing more and stuff like that. And coming back, kind of felt in the fall, I felt the best I've ever felt.
Yeah.
So credit to just the development part, and health is a big thing, and I notice that now.
Yeah.
So I think that was just the biggest thing for me was staying healthy, developing more, kind of just growing into my body more too.
Yeah. Were there any pinpoint things within pitching that you kind of noticed really helps you get that rise in velocity? Was there anything you kind of switched up in your mechanics or grips or whatnot?
Not a super.
No quick fixes.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Obviously, just like certain type of workout, certain type of movements and stuff like that. Trying to, especially on the pitching side for us, was trying to kind of have a little rise to the fastball more, elevate more and stuff like that. But then trying to develop the other pitches to go along with that too. So I think this past year has definitely helped me develop and grow more as a pitcher for sure.
We'll get into kind of the pitch grips and stuff in a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more about this season and last year. First of all, how do you kind of split up your practices? Do you lean more one way or the other as far as pitching or hitting, or like in general? I feel like within college baseball, most of your time is dedicated to hitting, and then you'll throw a bullpen, right?
Yeah.
Was that kind of what your schedule was like?
Yeah, it was kind of, especially in practices. As a freshman, you kind of just try to fit anything in. You have people to help you out doing that. So for me, it was start off the hitting side, defense side, kind of go into that, and then whenever there's time in between, I go do my throwing, do my prep and stuff like that. And then obviously on bullpen days, then that'll be definitely a main focus for sure.
Yeah. Just a different schedule than most other people out there, right? I want to talk a little bit about upsetting Vandy this year. What did that kind of mean to the team to get that done?
I think it was just, especially this year, dealing with a bunch of injuries and stuff like that, and that was definitely probably the biggest moment for us this year. Just kind of the excitement during the game, noticing how we were doing, and because I was out at that point. So obviously you're wanting to be on the field as much as possible, especially in those games.
Yeah.
But just seeing that from a different perspective was pretty cool for me too. And the team aspect, I mean, it was just the best thing for us this year, no doubt.
Yeah, a lot of momentum from that, right?
Absolutely.
Let's go into the pitch grips, if you would. So you got a baseball right there, and kind of start us off with the fastball, and then we'll go through the rest of your mix.
Yeah, it's just a normal fastball. Got the fingertips right across the seams. That's 4-seam, and then 2-seam kind of split it here. Just trying to let it roll off, and then
Are you a pronate or a supinator, first of all?
I'm not much of a pronate guy. I'm more just kind of straight up.
Yeah.
The changeup, obviously, it's a little different than most. I kind of just have
4-seamish, yeah.
Yep, and then I let that pinky kind of dangle down here.
Absolutely.
I don't pronate this as much as most people do. I kind of just let it roll off, and it naturally has that spin. Slider was more of a new pitch for me this past year. Had it developed kind of the end of my freshman year, but definitely over the summer and stuff. So got the pointer finger kind of hanging onto the middle finger right across the seam, have the thumb on the seam too.
Okay. Are you almost like thinking baby spike there, or are you just really thinking pressure on the middle?
It's just pressure on the middle. I tried to spike, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. So this just felt the most comfortable for me. Was kind of, it's almost a spike, but not quite.
Yeah. Okay.
And then curveball, it's basically the same thing with the middle and pointer finger, but the thumb's down on the other seam.
Okay.
And then you just
you really got that thing tucked.
Yeah, no doubt.
Are you much of like an analytics guy? Are you looking at your pitch like shaping when you're in bullpens and such and trying to develop?
So I've gotten into more of that this year. I'm not the biggest like this has to be that, it has to be that, because when I'm in game, I'm just trying to attack. I'm trying to get out. So that's my job when I'm on the mound. But off the field, it's definitely an improvement thing to have and to notice. But you don't want to make that your end-all be-all either.
Absolutely.
So that's how I go into that.
So let's say like on your best day when you're pitching, other than having command of all of your pitches, what kind of things stick out to you that are really working for you on that day?
For me, early it's just attack. Like I'm trying to attack and establish a fastball early.
Okay.
I think having that velo jump and stuff made me kind of more confident in attacking with the fastball. And then it's once you establish that, it's easy to go off your other pitches too. And for me as a hitter, I notice kind of the things as a hitter when I'm facing them. So I think that's a big help for me, and like just improvement on the mound too, is noticing those type of things.
Yeah, you're literally seeing it from both ways.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's like how catchers can sometimes like get on the mound and like not be bad because they understand it. Yeah. Going into kind of my next question here, mental skills on the mound are super important, right? And we've kind of talked already about facing adversity. What do you think like your motto is on the mound? Like, what are you thinking in like 1 or 2 words when you're up on that mound? Like some guys this week have said like attack, or FU has been one that's been thrown around. Like, what's kind of your motto for pitching?
I'm similar to that.
Yeah.
I'm similar to like almost you're not going to beat me.
Yeah.
I think that mindset is good, but you also have to have a calm aspect to you, because when you get super high intent, then you tend to lose it a little bit. So I think having that mentality and obviously letting out emotion is just part of it. So I'm big on attacking and like having that confidence to like just go straight at them with your stuff. But I think you have to, especially early, kind of tone it back a little bit, have calm, because you want to go as far as you can. So that's how I am.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point right there. And I always think about it too, is like you don't want to be this up and down guy, right? Like if you're somewhere in the middle, you can kind of sway both ways and it won't kill you, right? Talking about being a two-way, the toll on your body absolutely has to be increased compared to other people, right? What's kind of your go-to recovery method, or your training room guy? What kind of gets you right to be able to play as a two-way?
A lot of prep. A lot of prep before games, especially. You got to obviously get your sprints in and stuff like that. And it's hard to do that when you're on the mound, because you still got to. Because for me, when I pitched, I still hit.
Yeah.
So making sure you get both eat in, it's definitely a little time consuming. You got to get there a little earlier. You got to start a little earlier. But
talk about stamina, man.
Yeah, it's different. But I mean, I love it. I mean, obviously a lot goes into it. A lot of certain aspects, like you got to do this and that. You got to divvy it up evenly. But for me, it's been fun for sure.
Yeah. So my last kind of question here is before we get into some short kind of rapid fire ones is about walk-up songs. Did you have a different one for hitting and pitching, or
I did.
you? Okay,
I did.
I want to hear them and your reasoning why.
So freshman year was "Let's Get Loud" by Jennifer Lopez.
Nice.
Kind of just
Yeah.
Freshman, you don't want to like have this like
Yeah.
nuts walk-up song or anything. You kind of
You're not the guy yet. Yeah.
So I did that freshman year. What was my pitching one freshman year? I don't even remember what my freshman pitching year was, but this past year my hitting one was "Family Affair" by Mary J. Blige.
Nice.
And then pitching was "Ain't No Love in Oklahoma" by Luke Combs. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Like a couple different genres.
Yeah,
mixed
different
in there.
genres. You got to mix it in a little bit.
The common theme I've heard from these prospects all week long is walk-up songs do matter. Do you agree with that sentiment that they kind of set the tone for you as a baseball player?
I think so, especially first inning as a starter.
Yeah.
You kind of want to like get going.
Yeah.
So for me, kind of just having a little like get going type of thing. So that was for me on the mound. And then hitting, you just got to find one that like kind of consistent. And for me, that's just like a more of a chill, but like we're going now. But those are my walk-up songs.
I've heard that as a common theme a lot this week. Is the hitting needs to be a little more calm, or like beat heavy, like just kind of like get you in a vibe, right?
Yeah.
Then pitchers, and when I used to play baseball in college, my walk-up song would signify like a change of face, right? I'm a completely new man the second you hear your walk-up song. To the point where if I put my playlist on shuffle and it comes on, I get like amped up hearing my walk-up song, right? Do you kind of feel the same way? Like it's like this is go time now.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially on the pitching side, and I hear it is because I usually don't get on the mound until I hear the start.
Me too. Yep. You hear Luke Combs come in,
and I hear Luke
going.
I hear it going, and then I kind of get on the mound and start going.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I love that. So just a couple of rapid fire questions here, a little more silly, kind of just get to know you as a person. I've been asking this to a lot of people because I think it's a really interesting question. What do you think the best French fry out there is? So many options, you can only pick one.
Obviously, like everybody's gonna say McDonald's, fast food. I mean,
I haven't got to McDonald's yet.
McDonald's is pretty. It's just like so simple but so good at the same time. But man, it's a good question. I haven't really thought about that.
I've never heard anyone ask about French fries.
Yeah,
so
no.
we can take McDonald's.
I'll take McDonald's for now.
Yeah, there you go. This will actually be an interesting one for you. Do you think cardio or lifting is more important for a guy like you? They're both important. Don't get me wrong.
They're both very important.
Both super important.
For me, it's different doing both sides.
That's why I wanted to ask this. Yeah.
Because me on the lifting side is more of fast movements, but still putting up some weight.
Absolutely.
But then you also got to get the cardio working as a pitching side. So, man, that's a
I
good
can't
question.
think about how brutal that question is to answer.
Yeah.
You can say both if you need to, and we can move on.
I'll say pitching side cardio, and
okay. Absolutely.
The hitting side definitely lifting.
There you go. What do you think the biggest benefit of attending the combine is going to be for you?
I think kind of realizing where I'm at, and obviously the interviews with everybody, and which those have been going good. But I think the kind of environment that we're in definitely is the most recognizable for me because I'm not doing anything obviously, but meeting all these guys, meeting certain guys in MLB and stuff like that, I think has definitely made me realize where everything's at.
Yeah, absolutely. And you fit right in, man. Favorite ballpark food?
Ballpark food. For me, the best ballpark food I've had was at the Tennessee Smokies, actually. Minor league ballpark. Had a little bacon cheeseburger with some fries, and it's really good.
I'm sure, I'm sure ballpark food in Tennessee is pretty good.
It was pretty good, not gonna lie. But big Braves fan, so there's some good food at Truist. So
I'm heading there for the All-Star game. You might have to give me some recommendations.
I might be there. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have to grab a hot dog.
Maybe.
Kind of my last question here. I've been asking people this week. Who's your baseball GOAT and why? It doesn't have to be the greatest player of all time, but who's your personal GOAT?
For me, what it used to be was obviously growing up and being a Braves fan. My dad always made it seem like Hank Aaron was the GOAT.
Yeah.
And then the
It's
pitching
tough
side
when
of
you
it,
see
and
it.
it was like Greg Maddux and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, but now, growing up, my favorite player was Chipper Jones.
Yeah.
And now it's different for me because seeing like Shohei two-way or Paul Skeens and DeGrom, like were two-ways in college and developed as a pitcher. So I don't know if I have a GOAT, but that's just kind of how I was growing up and how I see it now.
Yeah, you have your old legends and you're influenced by the new stars, right?
Absolutely.
It's a good mix.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you so much for taking this time to interview with us. Do you want to shout out your social medias or whatnot? Let the people know where to find you so they can follow you.
Yeah, Instagram's Trace Phillips _3, and I'm pretty sure that's with everything, every TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. So go follow the socials.
Welcome back to Prospects Live at the MLB Combine, and I'm joined by a really special guest, Murf Gray. How are you doing today, first of all?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Good, man. Even better now. This is an interview I've been looking forward to a lot. I can't wait to kind of pick your mind about baseball and other things, but just to start off, Mountain West Player of the Year. Is that something like you had a goal before the season to do that, or did you visualize or anything, or is it just kind of an added bonus on top of all the other accolades?
You know, I think it's more of an added bonus, you know, just always working hard, you know, staying true to the things we do at Fresno State and just playing hard always.
Yeah, it's like absolutely, man. I think that's exactly what it is. Playing in a regional, it's obviously a tough one at UCLA. They're a team that has performed pretty well all year. Walk me through that experience this year. I know it must have been really hard kind of ending your season on that note, but you guys did make a big impact in baseball this year. Kind of how was the regional experience for you?
It was amazing, you know. As soon as we got there, our players were just, stunned by the place, you know. A lot of us never been to UCLA, especially playing at that field, so we were just happy to be there. But at the same time, we knew what the goal was going in there. We didn't get that win, unfortunately, but at the same time, we were happy with what we did and how far we came. You know?
Yeah, it was a good process all year, right? Talking about your feeling here, third base, you're a Gold Glove finalist right now. I don't know when they officially announced that or not. I don't know if you know that, but you're a Gold Glove finalist and you're a big guy, right? Some people might question your defensive capabilities. Well, how could you question a Gold Glove, right?
Yeah.
What kind of work did you have to put in to get to where you are at defense to know that you can stick, at the hot corner?
Those yearly improvements, I feel like working with our infield coach, Richie Price, really helped me. He helped develop me into that third baseman. Out of high school, I was a shortstop and a pitcher, so didn't know too much at third base, and he taught me how to play it really well at third base. And I think at the next level, there's so much room for me to improve and keep getting better at third base. I feel that I can stick at third base.
Absolutely. Kind of like your day in and day out of fielding. What are some things you try and focus on every single day in your practice for positional work? And then what are some drills that you found that have really helped you this year as far as improving your defense?
At Fresno State, we try to work a lot on footwork and glove work, and I feel that I kind of prioritize that. At third base, it's a lot of footwork, small movement spaces, but also the glove work. If that glove is good, you can stick there. So just day in and day out, just working on small things like that, making sure the glove is good. I love doing my short hop series before I start ground balls, and I love taking mass ground balls just to get a feel of the glove.
Yeah, just get a bunch of reps, right? That's
of
the
reps.
best way to get better.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about kind of now you're hitting, what's your pregame hitting routine look like before a game? Say it's game day, what are you doing to get the bat ready?
So, get there early. I like to stretch out, do my hip mobility, things like that. Straight to the tee. Take about 20 to 25 swings, just slow and controlled off the tee. Then I move into my angled toss from the right side. And then I go into my regular front toss. Then I move into some arm live. And then, if we're facing some good velo that day, then I turn the pitching machine on and get some good velo.
Absolutely, right? Talking about that angle toss, what are you specifically working on when you're thinking about doing that drill? What does that help you with?
Staying short, compact, and close. As a bigger guy, I like to use my strength and, pull the ball as much as I can. But if I can stay close and use all of the field, I'll be a lot better hitter at the next level.
There you go. I saw a great video. I've seen a couple great bat toss home run videos out of you. And is a bat flip instinct or is that purposeful? Do you think it's just second nature in a moment like that? It just happens and you can't control it? Or is there a little bit of purpose behind that?
Man, it's just second nature, Sometimes it's just like you do something that cool, you black out. You know, you just think, man, I'm living in the moment.
And you're not showing anyone up. Like,
Right.
just make that clear. It's not an aggressive bat flip, but it's
Right.
quick. Like, you do it right after you hit, right?
And it's just to, like, live in the moment. I'm just thinking nothing. I'm effortless. I'm just playing the game, having fun, like that kid I was when I was 9 playing the game.
Absolutely. I think we're going to have to dub over a clip of that bat flip and post that, because there's a good video. I don't remember what game that was, but it's a pretty good video.
I think I remember. It was at San Jose.
There's some good pictures, too. Yeah. Talking about the mental skills of baseball, right? So we talk about this thing where failure is the standard in baseball. 7 out of 10 times or whatnot, you fail. How do you stay process-oriented, and how have you kind of honed your mental skills to remain a level-headed baseball player?
I think massive reps in playing the game this long, you have to know that you're going to fail a lot.
Yeah.
Failure is a part of this game. Failure is going to be a part of life.
Yeah.
More importantly, baseball teaches a lot of life skills. So if you're able to fail on the field, you can fail in life, but also know that you have to get your get back. You got to get up. You got to get back on your feet. You got to get rolling. So it's not like, oh, I failed today. It's, no, I failed today. I'm going to use that, get better, and work on it tomorrow.
Absolutely. So talking about your get back, has there been a chip on your shoulder for a while now? Can you point to a time maybe you felt overlooked or whatnot? And are you a guy who really plays with a chip on your shoulder?
No, I feel that in high school I was pretty overlooked, but I mean, I was just that kid from a small town, you know, just playing baseball. And then when I got to Fresno State, I was able to prove myself, you know, year in and year out, you know, just getting better, making those small improvements. But the whole time it's just been staying humble and just grinding the whole time.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Fresno State a little bit, right? Your loyalty to the program cannot go unnoticed. What about Fresno State is so special?
I think the biggest thing that a lot of people think about too when they talk about me and Fresno State is how close it is to my house.
Yeah.
It's like 35 minutes down the road. So just being that close, my whole family gets to come to my games, my best friends, you know, things like that. But even more importantly, Ryan Overland was the first guy that recruited me.
Mm-hmm.
He spoke truth into me. He said I could be something, and he believed in me ever since I was a freshman. So without him, I wouldn't be here today.
That kind of loyalty is really amazing. It's something that in this era of college baseball, sometimes it's hard to find, right? So that's an impressive thing right there. Kind of last big question here. What memory will you remember from your college baseball career above all else?
I'll probably remember my sophomore year playing in the Mountain West Championship. We had to win 2 games to win the championship, and we won 2 games back to back.
It's one of the hardest things to do in sports is win twice on championship.
I'll tell you, we were just nervous and scared that whole game, but you know, we never lost any doubt. We just fought the whole way.
Yeah, back against the wall, you guys performed even better, right?
Oh yeah.
Moving into some rapid fire questions here. My first one is just cardio or lifting. Which one do you prefer to do?
Lifting.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy answer for most people out there, but I'm wondering if we're gonna get a cardio guy today. Would you rather have to sing or dance if you had to pick one? Lesser of two evils, maybe.
I'm a decent dancer. I really can't sing, but I feel like if I'm put on the spot dancing, I won't do well. So I'll say singing.
Okay, so if you had a karaoke song, what would it be?
Probably Mo Chicken by Boss Man D-Lo.
Absolutely. What was your walk-up song this year, brother? This is something I want to ask everyone about. I think walk-up song is an underrated part of baseball.
Yes.
I think in college baseball, it can set a tone for a hitter. It can get you in the right mindset. What was the process in choosing your walk-up song, and what was it?
You know, so I had Magic Stick my freshman year.
Nice.
And that was a cool one, but I was like, I got to move to something new. And Sexy Red was just hit the scene.
She was popping.
She was popping, so I changed it to Get It Sexy. And that one just stuck because you had kids in the stands dancing, saying like bow, bow, bow.
Oh, yeah.
You had everybody standing up. So
Yeah.
that one just got me in a good groove and had the fans in the game.
Yeah, that's one of the rare ones where everyone can get behind it because it gets the fans involved too. Like mom's
Right.
kind of like, what is this? But like if everyone's laughing and having a good time, like why not?
Right.
I absolutely love that. What's your go-to pizza order? First of all, are you a pizza guy? Some
Big
people
pizza
are.
guy.
Okay, go-to pizza order.
Go-to pizza order, we're going to Pacifica in Madera, California. We're getting the Meat Lovers pizza with 2 ranch on the side.
Ooh, you have it. Okay, so you've ordered that before, I'm guessing.
I ordered that
Maybe
3 days ago.
A lot of Sunday nights, yeah. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
Okay. All right. I can get behind that. My last question here is pardon the terminology. Would you rather be driving the car or are you a passenger princess on Ox?
I like this one a lot because I enjoy driving as much as I do, but I would have to say being a passenger controlling Ox, man.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling than that. Just kick back, feet up, and I'm just like, yeah, what song's next? I'm queuing up songs back to back.
You and the guys on the road trip, Apple Music or Spotify?
Spotify.
Good, yeah, that's the right answer there. I'll say that. Let's say you're on a road trip, right? A go-to road trip snack, and what song do you kick off your road trip with?
I'll probably say go-to snack. We'll go with probably Nutella sticks and some goldfish.
Yeah.
Song that I'm throwing on is probably Pound Cake by Drake.
Yeah. Long one too. Yeah.
It's a very long song, but it's a good song.
Yeah.
And we gotta get somebody else in there too. Maybe like some J. Cole.
Yeah.
No, we'll go Get You by Daniel Caesar.
Okay.
Instead.
Oh, so you got a little bit of both sides.
Yeah, get a little bit
there,
of both.
There you go. Man, I gotta get your playlist here. I'm liking what I'm hearing.
Yep.
But this has been a great time. I'd love if you could shout out your social media, let the people know where to find you now.
You can find me on Instagram at Murf Gray, and
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate you coming on a lot.
Thanks for
man.
having
Thank you. Welcome back, everyone, to Prospects Live at the Combine, and I'm joined by a familiar face because you just saw him a couple days ago on our channel. He's back again, Sean Youngerman. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you? Good to be back in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah,
this
good
time.
to see you in person, right? Yeah,
cooler.
yeah. It's way better, right? No Drew though, but we do have our other podcast co-host did make it actually with us
there we go.
To Arizona. So Reese is here with us. I don't know if they can see that, but the framed picture, which is not weird at all, of my podcast co-host who I've never met in person. It's a little weird. But the people at home understood. I want to spend this time with you in person, getting into the art of pitching with you. We learned a lot about you in our longer interview the other day. We learned about who you are as a person. It was an absolutely fantastic interview. But I want to pick your brain about some of the more nitty-gritty pitching things. So you got a ball right there. And you'll notice it's a good old NAI ball. I don't know if you remember those guys.
I do.
They're a fun ball. And I want to talk about pitch grips with you and kind of go over some cues and then get even more into the weeds. So our camera's right there. If you want to start out with the fastball and then kind of break down what you're thinking as you throw, we're going to pitch and get you this thing.
Alrighty. Well, fastball for me is a pretty traditional forcing grip. I kind of keep my thumb underneath the ball. For me, this one's basically purely just let it go.
Grip and rip?
Kind of grip and rip, but obviously I want to attack the zone.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of gripping and ripping, not just in general, but gripping and ripping to where I'm supposed to be at in the zone, right? If it's low and away, I'm gripping and ripping to low and away. But for me, I feel like I don't need to teeter around with the fastball.
It's bread and butter, right?
Bread and butter, and got to trust it.
Absolutely. What would you say your most consistent off-speed offering is?
Most consistent off-speed is probably the changeup now. We're able to make a small grip change.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's helped me out so far.
Do you want to go over what that grip change actually was and what you're struggling with beforehand?
Absolutely. So I started off with a pretty simple circle change, and then I kind of moved to more of a, I guess you could say, a Vulcan, or some people might call that a safety splitter.
Yeah.
And basically, I just took this grip and shifted my fingers a little bit, put a little more pressure on this seam, and used my thumb right here, and kind of just. Ball just kind of spins out a lot better now. And
so is it spinning more, would you say? You get more of that kind of side spin, change-up spin on it?
Yeah, I would say it has a lot more bite to it and a lot more depth to it and a lot more runs. So it's
you're almost forcing it off the middle finger.
Correct.
In a sense. Okay, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
What else are you throwing right now?
Throwing a slider, pretty traditional slider grip.
Yeah.
But other than that, those are the three pitches I'd like to implement, either a two-seam or a curveball, in the future.
Yeah. What's your cue on the slider? Because I can see that you have it nice and tight in there, which I think provides a lot of comfort. Right? Are you throwing that right at the right-hand batter? Do you imagine your target before you throw it, or kind of what's your thought on a slider, which has some movement to it, right?
Right. My best thought that I could have on a slider personally is you have different cues depending on where you're trying to throw.
Absolutely.
So if I'm trying to go backdoor to a lefty, I'm going to start it kind of. In the middle of the right-handed batter's box, so it comes back.
It's tough because there's nothing really to throw it at.
Exactly.
Right? It's a repetitions thing almost to get that back door.
100%. So for me, that's kind of my focus there.
Yeah.
And then it just changes for a righty. When I'm throwing at a righty for a strike, I'm probably throwing the slider right at him. I'm trying to get it to go into the zone, and if I'm trying to get it to go, bottom left corner, low and away, I'm probably starting it, middle away. And, swing and miss, I'm probably starting it almost away.
Absolutely.
So I'm just kind of changing each focal point depending on where I'm going.
On your best days, what do your pitches look like? What's the difference between your maybe average day and your best day? What pitch is working better than normal? What are you kind of noticing when you're pitching?
Yeah, I mean, best day obviously is going to be when all three are working.
Absolutely,
I can land all three for strikes. I can land all three for chase. I'm not having to rely on just one pitch so much where the hitters are now all of a sudden expecting it.
Yeah.
So basically just
being able to throw anything at any time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Being able to keep the hitter off balance and keep him guessing. And, first time I see him, ideally is, I only throw him a fastball and a slider to a righty. And then second time I see him, now I'm throwing him changeups. And they're like, oh, well, now he's throwing right on right changeups.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. So I'm assuming you don't call your own pitches, or
Correct.
you did not.
Correct.
So let's say you were. What is your dream 3-pitch strikeout sequencing with location and pitch type?
My dream 3-pitch.
How are you setting guys up? What's the first pitch? Are they swinging? Are they not? Like, let's get imaginary world here.
So, we're gonna say something where I can use all 3 pitches.
There you go.
And I would have to say it would be a right-handed hitter for me. So first pitch would obviously be, I think getting him to swing through a slider. First pitch would be pretty cool.
Opens a lot of things up.
Yep. So if I can, get him swing and miss first pitch slider. Swing and miss second pitch changeup. Kind of catch him off guard. Like, now he just
you're kind of almost going both directions.
Right. He just threw both. And then third one is just going heater up and then being like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to just take my bat and walk back to the dugout.
You get 3 different pitches, man.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's honestly what I would do as well, right? Like, I think that's kind of the dream is to have 3 pitches go to different directions.
Absolutely.
Right? So let's get into maybe some in the weeds talk here. What do you credit to your velocity jump? Kind of in the last couple of years, as you started ticking up into the upper 9s, what do you credit the most with that jump?
I think consistency is one of the biggest things, or at least one of the biggest words I would use. For me personally, it was doing a lot more mobility, making sure that those deficiencies in how my body moved were, corrected or at least helped a little bit better. And as well for me personally was making sure that I was throwing harder more often. And it wasn't like, I'm going to go rip plyo balls harder, or I'm going to go, move, wait for no reason. It was, I'm going to work through my mechanics with a mobile body. And I just started to see it tick, week after week after week for me.
Yeah. So you didn't have an unlock per se. It was more of like, I grinded my way to this.
Correct.
Absolutely. I love that. So when you are warming up, let's say you're warming up for a start, so you have a little bit more time. What does your kind of pre-game ritual look like? What are you doing? Like, are you doing plyos? Like, when are you starting your mobility? Stuff like that.
Yeah, so, everyone usually has a set dynamic timing. Dynamic is usually about an hour before you're supposed to start the game. So then an hour before that, I'm either in the training room or wherever I have access to, rolling out, getting mobility, kind of stretching my body as is. I kind of just have this whole routine that I take myself through, make sure I hit just about everything, get nice and loose, because I don't want to be cold going into the dynamic. I want to make sure my body's good to go, and from there go straight into the dynamic. Once I'm done with the dynamic, usually hit a couple sprints. When I'm done with the sprints, I go do my bands, and then I usually do body blade or shoulder tube for a little bit, like to get my shoulder nice and loose, and then finish off with 4 or 5 reverse throws with a green plyo, and
that's your plyo routine.
Yep,
absolutely.
that's it.
I love that. The safest plyo routine out there, right? Reverse throws are kind of like the anyone could do it. 12-year-olds listening could do a reverse throw conceivably with a lighter weight. Have you ever been like a heavy plyo ball kind of guy, or weighted balls to try and chase velocity, and how did that work out for you?
So I've never done that personally. My reasoning behind not doing it is simply because I didn't know how to do it properly. And I think that if you don't know how to do those things properly, you shouldn't do them.
Risk versus reward.
Exactly. And I think the risk is much greater than the reward in those cases. And, just having conversations even this week is just simply, look, like, I'd love to learn about that more so I can try to implement it, right? And see if it works. Because if I haven't done it yet, there's the possibility of, this could work out for me.
And you would imagine that MLB teams are the best people to introduce that to you, right?
100%.
So maybe that's where those come in later on down the line, because they know what they're talking about more than anyone. So I think that's a really interesting note, and that could be like, if you get 3 ticks up next year, I'm gonna think in my head like, yeah, they got him on the flyer routine a little bit, like they found the juice in there. That's really cool. How has the experience been for you all week? I think I saw you yesterday. What has this kind of meant to you being at the Draft Combine?
I mean, it's special, right? Like, it's not an opportunity I thought I was gonna, be able to get. And then, thankfully I was granted this opportunity, and for me, it's just been special and kind of surreal to be able to take all this in. I get the opportunity to be at a beautiful big league ballpark, and be around a lot of great guys and a lot of people that are knowledgeable about the game, and sharing stories with them, and reconnecting, and I mean, it's just been really, really cool.
It's a special league, right?
Absolutely.
I was saying this earlier. It's not, you don't dream about the MLB Combine when you're a kid, because first of all, there wasn't one. But like now that you're here, even for me being able to work this, it's dreamlike, right? Like this is just like a culmination of all your hard work is getting this invite and being able to meet all these cool people who believe in you so much. And man, we couldn't be more excited for you. But we're gonna let you go for now, and I'm sure we'll probably talk to you again at some point down the line, and we'll be rooting for you next month, man. It's gonna be a really, really cool thing.
I'm excited. This has been fun.
We appreciate you a lot. Thanks for coming out, Sean.
No, thank you very much.